Hi there, good evening and welcome along to your Friday night dose of darts. It is the conclusion of Group B and a night which will see the finals night field filled with the final 3 players getting through to join the 3 that are already there, including the defending champion Luke Littler. More on that in a moment, but let's just remind you what happened in Group B last night. Mark Hilton made his return to the big screen last night and enjoyed a big win. But victory over Jelle Klaassen was Hilton's only high, and the former flight attendant is yet to get off the ground in Group B. Fleetwood's Jordan Brooks looked astonished to have hit the target that sparked a fabulous 156 finish. A brilliantly bizarre moment in a night of 2 halves for Brooks, who won his first couple of matches but went on to lose his last 2 games. It was also 4 points apiece for the speedsters in Group B. Alexander Merckx managed moments of magic amid 2 triumphs, while fellow Dutch darter Jelle Klaassen also achieved a brace of victories last night. But it was the X-Factor who managed a treble, Andy Boulton leading the way. But it's all to play for tonight as we complete the second half of Group B's Double 10. Yeah, Matthew Edgar has joined me to discuss what's happened so far, not just in this group, but this week in total. And in fact, we'll start by taking a look at the way the week has panned out. Mentioned it at the top of the show, Luke Littler already through to finals night, but this afternoon he was joined by Sebastian Białecki and Harry Ward. It's shaping up to be some evening, isn't it?
It's all going how we'd expect, really. We've not seen any surprises or shocks. Luke Littler going through Group A is what everybody expected. Everyone expects him to win this week. And then when it came to Group C, you take a look at the players that was in there. You say Sebastian Białecki. Yes, he didn't have the most successful Group A campaign, but we know what he's capable of. He's a UK Open quarter-finalist. That is a very big title to be carrying around at 19 years old. He's got that. He was dominating that group, only beat by Harry Ward, which is so poetic, really, when you look at Harry Ward being the other guy that's gone through that group and a guy who's won a PDC Pro Tour before. No shock so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the group that is going to take place tonight, the final places will be filled. It is Group B, and it's been a really closely fought thing so far. If we look at the table, there are only, well, there's 4 points from top to bottom, but crucially, it's the top 3 that go through. So only 2 points from Hilton to Merckx and 2 points from Brooks in 4th to Boulton at the top.
If we ask the players the question around the league table, they would tell you that this is actually a 4-horse race, because Mark Hilton would completely dismiss his chances of doing so. He came here just to sort of see where he was, to enjoy it, to be back on the stage again. He's not been on it for a very, very long time. And he looked like he really enjoyed it and embraced it last night. Got a win, and even scared a lot of people up there as well. He was playing some good darts, probably better darts than I expected him to play coming into this. And it's going to be interesting when he's got that ADC title match tomorrow. But there are 3 places available. I reckon it's a race of 4. The players probably think it is as well, which makes this first match so important. Yeah,
it certainly does. Right, the bookies usually don't get these kind of things wrong. So let's see what they think. Now, in terms of the outright betting, I find this really interesting because, as we just mentioned, this is to win the group. And there are 3 players just 2 points behind Andy Boulton. But he's an odds-on favourite and quite a short one as well.
Yeah, there's that expression, isn't there? Even when the bookies get it wrong, they get it right. I think that might be what we say here, because I look at that and say that's wrong. But it could still end up being right. A very, very strong odds-on favourite on Andy Boulton. That might be down to how the fixtures break down as well, because we talk about scoreboard pressure. It's not something we traditionally see in darts, but we might in this format with a league table. Andy Boulton's first games against Mark Hilton, bottom of the table, 2 points. A guy who's completely wrote off his own chances. So maybe we're going to see Andy Boulton extend at the early point, and then it's going to be a game of chase throughout the night rather than a bit of a mashup.
Yeah, let's now get Edgar's opinion on the bet builder tonight. This is what has been compiled, and it's all on players to hit just 180 in each of those specific matches. What do you make of that?
Well, at odds of nearly 7-1, I think that is extremely good value. We've got games where we're going to have quite close games. We didn't get too many sort of 4-0, so you know you're going to get legs and opportunities. And that's sort of been the value of the week all the way through, especially on Andy Boulton. It's not like he doesn't hit 180s. He just doesn't hit 2, 3 or 4 in a match, but he's quite regularly getting 1, and they're still not learned. They're still keeping it around the even money mark, and I think that could be good value.
Yeah, 10 games to come tonight. First one's Alexander Merckx against Jordan Brooks. Just quickly, how important are these early games for the players that are in the mix this evening?
Oh, vital. Because what you won't do as a player, I can vouch, I've been in there. You don't look at it and go, right, to win this group or to get through this group, I need 8 points, 10 points, whatever. And I'm going to work that. That's my target, and that's what I'm going to work towards. It doesn't matter if I get my 8 points by winning my last 4 games or my first 4 games. They play it as a continuum. They play it as a table. And it's going to be moments tonight where the players will over-egg a game. I think there's going to be some nervy moments throughout the night.
There certainly is, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it unfolds. Matthew Edgar is going to be narrating the action alongside Paul Nicholson. So let's turn the first page on this Tungsten Tale.
A very good evening, and thank you, Murph. I've never been, or indeed Matthew Edgar has never been called a narrator. Well, as far as the Super Series is concerned, we are your Morgan Freemans. Well, the Sheriff, who had a very interesting first night in Group B action, picking up 4 points for his efforts. It was Alexander Merckx, though, had hit the least 180s in his group every day this week. And if you consider how many 180s he's got for the week, you might be shocked, because he's played 4 days as Alexander, the former weekly champion, or should I say the weekly champion from Series 2 in an early week. He's up against Jordan Brooks of Fleetwood, who, like I said, is in 4th position on 4 points, but he's on the same points tally as Merckx and Klassen, and only 2 behind
First
the
leg,
top
Alexander
of the
to
table.
Thoreau first.
This
Game on.
really will be a very interesting 10 games here this evening. But like I said, not many 180s from
55.
Alexander Merckx. Only 6 this week, Matt.
If we played that game you play at school, and I drew a dart player in the middle, and I said, that's a Dutch dart player, what I want you to do is
57.
make assumptions, and we're going to do like spider graphs off of him. We're going to do little arms, and I want you to write down what you describe this
100.
player as. And when you think of Dutch darter, you think fast, slightly erratic, big power
81.
scorer, lots of 180s.
I'd go with that. So the 180s haven't been there this week.
96.
I know it's a fairly blunt question, but what has been there this week for Alexander?
Everything. And that's the problem. He would rather
77.
have something than everything. And when we say everything, there's been moments of brilliance. And there's been moments
98.
where he's struggled to get legs in games.
Yeah, I would concur with that, because we have seen flashes of brilliance from Alexander, but the stuff in between has been too ordinary.
100. Alexander require 152.
Well, let's take yesterday. I'm just going to use his first 2 matches yesterday as a case in point. Hold on.
120.
Nearly takes out a 152, which would have been a case in point for me. Game number 1 yesterday, 4 out of 5 on the doubles. Game number 2, didn't even get a dart at the double and lost 4-0.
60. Alexander require 32.
Very much like a crab fishing boat in the Bering Sea, is very up and down.
Game shot of the first leg.
Well, there's
Alexander
a
Merckx.
typical finish from Alexander. He doesn't even think about it. He's on 32 and he takes it out in double 12.
Second leg, Jordan to Thoreau first. Game on.
Now, I think at this early stage, and I'm making a bold prediction here, that Alexander is going to make the top 3, because he has a knack of making Saturday night.
58.
He's got an excellent record of doing that. And he loves playing late on a Friday night.
100.
I'm going to join in then with this. I like this game. I'm going to put him in the top 3 with Klassen and Bolton.
Agreed.
100.
That means that we think at this stage, Jordan Brooks might not get to the top 3.
91.
But what he has tonight is an opportunity to set the clubhouse lead. He will finish first in game number 8 against Mark Hilton, How many points is he going to have to get to prove us wrong?
99.
Well, he's already picked up very quickly here. Do you know when you watch a horse
97.
race with a
Jordan,
child
you
and you say
require
which one's going to win and they pick the
164.
one in front? I feel we might be doing that in about 2 or 3 legs' time if Jordan Brooks keeps this going.
After getting 4 points last night, I
100.
firmly believe that he needs to win 3 games this evening.
139.
There are times when 8 points isn't enough.
Jordan, you require 64.
Tonight might be one of those nights. Double 16.
46. Alexander,
Nobody
you
wants to
require
hit double 16
74.
so far. Told you. Bullseye.
Game shot
Oh,
the
it's a
second
pretty
leg,
one as well. It's
Alexander
right in the middle.
Merckx.
Centre hole, as we call it.
Third leg, Alexander to throw.
This is the 5th day
Game
we've
on.
seen Alexander Merckx playing on that very stage. And I've not seen a flicker of emotion from him.
140.
And already today, we've had 2 sort of uppercut celebrations.
Let's talk about motivations then, Matt, because you're a big
41.
researcher when it comes to the psychological side of this game. What are the motivating factors tonight for someone
60.
like Alexander? And winning, for some people, yes, that can be enough, but there has to be more.
I think he feels like he hasn't done himself justice. And if he doesn't feel like
100.
that, he should. Because he is far better than the player we've seen. And that's not saying he's been terrible. That's saying I
100.
know he's better than what he is showing.
But you don't have to do your best until Saturday night, as long as you get there. We've seen it before. We've seen people play 2 groups,
41.
just get through, and then Saturday is theirs.
95.
You can't win the Super Series on a Monday morning.
But you can lose it on a Friday.
60.
And this is the last
Alexander
group. This is the
require
last
106.
opportunity to get into Saturday night.
He's getting out the traps tonight.
74.
He's still looking for a double 16. But at least he's coming back. This is so far a bit of a nightmare scenario for Jordan, who will play games 1, 3, 6, and 8 tonight.
140. Alexander require 32. Game shot in the third leg, Alexander Merckx.
Polished.
50 darts. First 3 legs.
Fourth leg, Jordan. to
Very,
throw
very
first.
good.
Game on.
Without being mega spectacular. Best start of this game. Obviously that bullseye in leg 2. But Brooks is in 4th position in the table by
140.
virtue of his leg difference. This is a game that is not going to help that.
59.
Yesterday, Merckx averaged 81.66 for his night's work. And for the second time this week, his doubles were excellent.
100.
42% yesterday.
Now, that
39.
would have been slightly heightened by the fact that that was only really judged over 3 matches, not 4. Because that second game, he did have a 0 from 0.
That's a good point.
100.
So what do you make of Brooks? He averaged just under 81 for the night.
58.
35% on
Jordan
the
require
doubles.
161.
His statistics weren't as good as Alexander. He was only playing his first day of the week, though, whereas Merckx was playing his 4th.
99.
Just slightly under his yearly statistics. His yearly stats over 12 months
100.
suggested throw about an
Jordan
83.
require
So
62.
just a little bit under par.
That's a nice start for double 16.
Game shot of the fourth leg,
And it
Jordan
seems to be
Brooks.
catching. Double 16 was shielding everything in the early parts of this match, but now
Fifth leg, Alexander to throw
bringing
first.
everybody in.
Game on.
I've already seen one huge comeback tonight in the world of darts. Luke Humphries 2-0 down in sets to Peter Wright.
109.
And Humphries has won 3 sets to 2 against Snakebite to make his way to his first semi-final at the World Grand Prix. So many congratulations to him.
100.
Many congratulations to Michael Smith, who's made his first semi-final of the Grand Prix, and to Gezi Price, who is
60.
in his 4th consecutive semi-final.
When people say what's missing from Luke Humphries' game to make him a major winner from where he is now, that. Turning round against Peter Wright from 2-0 down and winning. That's what was missing.
59.
Only one more semi-finalist to come. That will be Chris Dobie or Joe Cullen, who will be in our semi-finals in around
91.
about 24 hours' time. Because if you want to watch live on Sporty Stuff TV, the semi-finals will be live from 10 p.m. And the group stage of the finals night here in week 9 will be live on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel
81.
from
Alexander
7:30.
170.
So mark your cards for that.
42.
That's a bit of a slip. It does invite Jordan back into the leg if he finds a 140 plus here.
$41. Alexander
If
Acquire
he wins this leg,
128.
he does not go top of the table. But he would be close.
96.
Nice layup. Brooks can do nothing from here.
Well, he could cross his
60.
fingers and cross his toes.
Alexander Acquire 32.
Might not do any good.
No score.
Well,
Jordan, you require
double
160.
16 bites again. He had a 156 last night that he couldn't believe. He can believe that he's missed this one. He does tend to back off on a few shots, doesn't he?
96. Alexander, you
Might have to
require
back
32.
off the stage in a second.
Game
Because this
shot.
time,
And
in the
match,
first game of
Alexander
Friday,
Mills.
Alexander gets another big win. And he shoots the sheriff. He doesn't care about the deputy. Alexander the Great is in a very great position here in the table. He's now on 6 points alongside Andy Bolton. With that average of around 84, that's what you get from him most of the time. But the start, it was fabulous. And that bullseye in leg 2 was a real highlight. When we come back, it is time to see X Factor Andy Bolton against Mile Higher Mark Hilton. It could be time for Bolton to stretch his legs at the top if he gets a good start.
So the first match of the evening went the way of Alexander Merckx, a 4-1 success against Jordan Brooks to get his campaign on the final night for qualifying started. Coming next, it's a man in the lead in this Group B table, Andy Bolton. He takes on Mark Hilton, who's at the foot of the field, and Paul Nicholson caught up with the man nicknamed the X Factor a little earlier tonight.
Andy, Friday night here at the MODUS Super Series. How do you assess your week so far?
Good in not even some patches. Odd good games, lucky in others. I suppose just doing the right thing at the right time in some games is probably how I would sum it up. Yeah, not the week I expected. I've been playing really well coming into it. I don't know. I said yesterday in my interview or the other day that I don't know if I was expecting, without being disrespectful, more of a challenge. I looked at the group and thought, oh, this is going to be a really good week. And then I think everybody's kind of underachieved a little bit. Even Luke only had 200 or 300 averages kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like good, but good in patches, I suppose.
You said earlier in the week that you were working on something technically with your throw. How does it feel a few days after you said that?
Yeah, it's just to try and get it more from the elbow, so my shoulder is less involved, if you like. I don't feel like since I've been doing it, I'm having as much trouble with the shoulder, but now and again, and I think it's happened a few times this week, I lose my focus. I get a little bit irritated with myself, and I forget what I'm supposed to be doing, and go back to my old ways, and then it's the focus really. I think that's the main thing I need to work on.
Top three go through tonight. You're currently top of the table. What's the main motivation for your Group B campaign this week?
Just to win all my games tonight. I think that's the main thing, to go into tomorrow with a lot of confidence. Weird thing is, like, I've been for a good long walk today, clear my head a little bit. I think that was what I kind of needed. I felt really tired yesterday. I think with the switch from the early morning to the late night, I think definitely made a difference. But yeah, a good just to get a bit of confidence tonight to go into tomorrow and get it back to where I need to be.
Play well tonight. Good luck.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you very much.
Interesting chat there with Andy Bolton a little bit earlier. And he did something that I'm a big fan of. Going for a nice long walk, especially when the weather's pretty nice, which it has been in Portsmouth today. And Mark Hilton appearing on stage in a televised tournament for the first time in 11 years yesterday. Amazing, that. It's 2023. The last time was in 2012. A long time between drinks, as they say. But he hasn't had long to wait for his second appearance here on Friday night. But if he's going to have day 3 here in week 9, he's going to have to do an awful lot in this table. 57 years of age now. Last 16 in the World Championship in 2011. Last 16 in the World Championship for Andy Bolton is his best. But will the X Factor have too much
First
for
leg mark
everybody
to
here tonight? Because he
Thorofers.
starts his campaign
Game on.
at the top of the table. Matthew, I've got to ask you, are you a fan of going for a very long walk when you're feeling tired in a week like this?
No, I probably should be, and I'd probably advise
26.
different things, but what I actually do compared to what I say are two totally different things. If I felt tired, I genuinely would probably lay in bed, probably not even get dressed in the
84.
morning, get Football Manager out, and probably a Aero orange chocolate bar.
See, there's an answer I didn't expect. But one thing we do know about Andy is that in
28.
previous weeks he's been here, he's always found a way to make Saturday. And he has won a week before. So he knows what he needs and he's not afraid to do it. Whether that's some sort of orange flavoured chocolate or finding some sort of South Coast sea air.
And don't forget the celebrationary sour cream Pringles on the belly.
42.
I thought you were talking about somebody else when he said that.
Yeah, that was Bieletsky.
I noticed he didn't pull you about that today. He didn't pull any punches, though, did he?
100.
Probably because he did it.
He has qualified for Saturday. And he has been in a final with Andy Bolton in the past, in the previous series. Are they destined to meet again?
81.
This is a good
Andy
start from
O'Quire,
Andy.
137.
He was very, very good yesterday. Only one slip up. Losing to Jordan Brooks.
97.
Doesn't look like he's in the mood to slip up here. In his interview with me, he said his motivation is to win all 4 games. And you might think, well, that's an easy answer. But not many people say that.
84. Andy O'Quire, 40. Game shot on the
Fabulous.
first leg, Andy Bolton.
Needed to find a break of throw at some point, and he's got it immediately.
Second leg, Andy to throw first. Game on.
Just want to throw a bit more light on Mark Hilton here. So we said at the start of the show that Mark Hilton has not played on a stage TV
135.
event for 11 years. He has played in TV tournaments before. He's played in the UK Open in 2014. That was his last sort of broadcasted event, but it was on one of the
85.
sideboards. This is what we mean in like a game which is focused on just one board and all the attention and eyes are on your game.
99.
I've just had a mental vision of Mark Hilton playing on the sideboard in the dining room, throwing them in off the lampshades.
I do remember watching Mark Hilton actually play on board 2.
95.
I believe it was the last 16 at the UK Open against Peter Wright. It was one of the greatest games of darts I've ever stood and watched.
Is that 2011?
100.
When they was both on the rise.
One of them has gone on to be a 2-time world champion.
I suppose we've both got very good fond memories actually of 2011. That's probably why we can recall that event so well.
Yeah, 2011 wasn't a bad UK Open.
140. Andy O'Quire, 167.
I actually got the champagne moment of that tournament. Still got the bottle.
85.
Do you know one of the things I really remember about that tournament, which is strange? They asked a lot of the players, it was like the Speedy 5, where you had 5 quick-fire questions.
I remember.
And one of the questions was, what's your pre-match meal? And before
97.
I gave an answer, Wayne Mardle
Andy
was doing
O'Quire,
his,
82.
and he said, 1 sausage.
He's being serious. Seriously, Andy.
42.
He might be equalised.
Mark O'Quire, 84.
Mark can find this. This is a much better leg from Hilton. Can't be ignored. Bullseye for him.
34.
Never had a chance. If he's enjoying this
Andy
experience,
O'Quire, 40.
his motivation tonight is for it not to end.
Game shot on the second leg, Andy Bolton.
But this is not what the doctor ordered for Hilton.
Let's not forget, though, regardless of what happens tonight,
Third
Mark
leg, Mark
Hilton's going to be
to
throwing
throw
darts
first.
tomorrow.
Yes,
Game
he
on.
is.
He will be bringing to the venue his championship belt. And he'll be defending that against Richard Hosey, we saw
100.
finish 3rd in Group C earlier on this afternoon.
I think he was pretty good over the last couple of days. I think he should be very proud of his debut.
I've got a feeling the way Richard Hosey played,
59.
he might not be leaving Portsmouth empty-handed.
So you're going for the Hosey win in the belt match.
I was impressed with him. And I feel like for that area,
55.
that could be like a passing of the torch. Mark Hilton's 57 now. Richard Hosey could be about to become the man of that area and be the
59.
belt holder to prove it.
He's only 40. Still a fair bit of time ahead of him.
But there was an expression, wasn't there, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And Mark Hilton's been the man of his local area for quite some time.
45.
So that's going to be an interesting match tomorrow when them two take each other on in the afternoon.
We'll have to come down and watch it.
140.
Last week's match was an absolute corker between Chris Quantock, who had the belt lost it to Tom Sykes in 16 legs. It was 9-7. Sykes averaged almost 98. And then Quantock went on to
100.
win the night. A very up and down day. But he was really pleased come Saturday night to make his way to Champions Week.
So he lost his belt and came back with a trophy.
80.
Yeah, and Tom Sykes was in the crowd watching it. That must have been a very strange experience. Great darts here. Down for the 19s now.
139.
Bolton on a bogey number. Can't do a thing apart from leave something very small and hope that Hilton misses. He couldn't have done any more than that.
131. Mercury requires 62.
Single 4. Leaves tops.
42.
He has had
And he requires
chances,
32.
but only 2 of them. Is he punished for them both? Wasn't happy with that initial angle that he'd created for himself. I think that shows a lot of experience.
Game shot in the
A
third
ton
leg,
of it
Andy Bolton.
For 3-0. Double break. And it just feels as if Andy will not be denied
Fourth leg, Andy
in this
to
first game
Throwfirst.
of his night.
Game on.
I think there's a lot of experience going on the entire stage, not just from Andy Bolton, but from Mark Hilton as well, because the way he started this match, he was all over the place. He was hitting big fives up by the double, and his first sort of 12, 15 darts, he was nowhere near. His average barely
39.
touched inside the 50s for the opening leg. And you wouldn't know any different now. Leg later, he's having a dart at the ball.
Absolutely. Yesterday, Andy was just shy of 90 for his average for the night.
43.
But the most impressive thing, he was 44% on his doubles. He's an incredibly consistent dart player. And every time he comes here, he proves it.
140.
I think there was a really big telling factor when we got here this morning and we looked at the odds compilers and seen what they have installed Andy Bolton in. And they actually moved Luke Littler from being such a strong favourite, and they moved him out in the betting on the
91.
basis of the performance of Andy Bolton. The odds compilers think he could be the man to stop Luke Littler, and he's already done it twice this week.
You've just jogged my memory about something,
97.
Mr. Edgar. And there's a lot of cohesiveness about that 2011 UK Open. Because you lost to a certain Andy Bolton in the last 32.
140.
Andy lost to Mark Webster in the last 16. Mark Hilton lost in the quarterfinals to the great Dennis Ovens.
100.
I lost to James Wade. So we all did pretty well in that tournament.
This is like the 2011 UK Open reunion. That was my first ever tournament. I'd only played like 3 PDC tournaments before that.
140. And
I
you
can't
require
believe I just found out that
125.
when I beat Taylor that afternoon, he averaged over 102. How does it take 12
93.
years to find that out?
And you-
Anyway.
Sorry, Mark, you require 87.
Mark needs 87 to stop being served a 4-0 loss. He's at the bullseye again. He needs to be better than last time.
48.
Well, it is because it hits the board
And
and
he
it
requires
stays in there.
32.
However, Andy on double 16, and the darts might go away for Hilton.
Game
Way
shot
too
and the
good.
match, Andy Bolton.
A superb performance. It's the second time this week he has won 4-0 and averaged 96.97. But we said that the doubling yesterday was excellent. It was even better in this 4-leg contest. 66.67%, or 2 from every 3 hits. That is special. And he's going to take some stopping tonight. He might only need 1 more victory, but I get the feeling he's going to get more than that. When we come back, we will get our first look at the former Lakeside champion on Friday night here, the 2-time weekly champion here at the MODUS Super Series, Jelle Klaassen.
And trying to book their tickets to finals night this week, it's Jordan Brooks and Jelle Klassen about to go head-to-head. Brooks beaten in his first match of the night. Klassen out for the first time this evening, and it's an important match between two players on 4 points. So without further ado, let's get the action underway in the company of Matthew and Paul.
Changes here this evening for Jelle Klassen already. Different footwear, no glasses. You could almost call him the artist formerly known as Jelle Klassen. But maybe, without the glasses, he could find a ton-plus checkout, because he was the only player yesterday not to hit one in Group B. Historically in his career, he's not the kind of player to change footwear in between days. But today he's got a fairly fetching pair of Chelsea boots on. I assure you, he's not a Chelsea fan, by the way.
First leg, Jordan to throw first.
Let's see what happens in this game, because both players are on 4 points. But Klassen's got 4 games left. Jordan is running out of fixtures.
And just going to the topic of big tumpless finishes, Jelle Klassen hasn't hit one
51.
yet. Jordan Brooks has only hit one, but that is the biggest one so far of this group. 156 finish, which he hit yesterday.
41.
Do you get the feeling that Klassen's stuck in a bit of a rut at the moment where he doesn't know what's best for him right now?
93.
I think that's very easy for us to say when you consider the amount of changes that we're seeing.
140.
Eyewear, footwear, equipment that's being thrust through the air. It almost feels like he needs something to
100.
click. And for his sake, I hope it clicks before Lakeside.
But what more does he want? He's just won a WWF ranking
48.
title. He got to the final. He's won the World Cup.
There are people out there, even when they're winning, they still want more. That can be a good thing
57.
or a bad thing. The good thing is, they still hunt for success. 17 years on from becoming world champion.
123.
And he still wants more WDF titles, and he wants more weekly titles here. And he'd love to have a crack at another series title, because he hasn't got one of those yet. But it's about that word, isn't it? It's hunger. The hunger is there. It's never been missing in the last 20 years.
127. You gotta require 149. $59.
I think it's obvious
Jordan,
what
you're
Jelle Klassen's targets are
173.
when you look at what he's done and where he's been trying to play his darts. Tops.
53.
Misses out.
You
Klassen will be
require
hoping
90.
for a shot at double 15. Oh, he's going the old bull route. So it's bull at the end.
Game shot on the first leg.
Whether you
Jelle
agree
Klassen.
with it or not, that is genius. I personally think that route
Second
is
leg, Jelle to
dangerous.
throw first.
I think you're playing with fire. But boy, does it look good when it's hit.
98.
And this could be massive in the shaping of the table here, because you mentioned about Jordan Brooks and fixtures. He is the first player to reach 6 fixtures.
100.
He could be on 4 points, 2 points behind the qualifying position, with Klassen and Merckx both having a game in hand.
44.
That's what I mean about him setting the clubhouse lead after game 8. He must get some points on the board between now and then.
60.
Otherwise, with 1 game left, he might already be short. Something is starting to click here for
139.
Klassen very moderately. Yesterday, an average of 85.8 for the night. I know for a fact he won't be happy with that.
60.
36% on doubles. He'd still want more than that. But even playing at that level, he still managed to win 50% of his
83.
games. And the curious thing yesterday was that he used 4 different setups in 4 matches when it comes to his darts equipment.
59. Yellow require 137.
He got rid of the 7 pretty quickly.
85.
And even though he's not playing at his best, he's still in that mid-80s range. Jordan Brooks just hasn't found what he needs to find here in this group so far.
Now he's going to find himself in a
128. Yellow require 52.
bit of a tussle. So if he loses this one, he's going to need hope.
12.
Now, did
Jordan
Yellow just go for
Yorkorn,
treble 12
94.
on 52? And we've already talked about that shot earlier today. Double 18 for tops. And he gets it this
On the second
time.
leg, Jordan Brooks.
Well, a great shot. And that's what you're going to get from Jordan.
Third
Fire.
leg, Jordan to throw first. Game on.
I don't think Klassen expected that. He was very clear in the leg.
100.
Well, considering what Yellow had, he had 52 for a 2-0 lead. He only got 1 dart at a double, and then he has to watch his opponent hit 2 doubles to take
44.
that leg away from him. That'll sting a bit. But look at the intensity in the way that Jordan looks at the board.
100.
It's like he's staring a hole through it. Have you ever seen Superman 2? When General Zod comes down with his army of baddies. And they
57.
stare at people and there's lasers come out of their eyes. It's almost as if he's from the planet Krypton and he's doing that.
60.
I think you've just described why I've never watched Superman.
140.
Captain Zog and Planet what?
General Zod. And watch what you're saying about Superman.
100.
This game could be flipping around. Unless Yellow can find something rather good. I'd say that's rather good. That's his
Jordan
fourth
Yorkorn,
180 of the group.
141.
Insert something rather good here.
57. Yellow you require 80.
Big moment this. Double 10. Oh,
60.
look at that.
Jordan you
found the
require
gap.
84.
He threw that really well. Most darts wouldn't have nestled in the gap there because it was about a millimetre wide. This is double 11. Is there anybody else in Super Series history who has used as much
62.
of the exclusion zone
Yellow you require
carpet
20.
as Jordan Brooks?
Game
2-1
from the third leg,
Klassen.
Yellow Klassen.
This is a breakfast so far.
Fourth leg, Yellow to throw first. Game on.
Describe irony. The man who won the leg is stood shaking his head while the guy who lost the leg was
96.
nodding.
You want to hear a good movie quote about irony? It's from the movie Con Air.
Oh, I
46.
love Connor. Yep.
Steve Buscemi says, define irony.
180.
That second 180 of the game. Bunch of idiots dancing on a plane to a song that was made famous by a band
60.
that died in a plane crash.
Nothing beats a quote from that film. Where it says,
121.
"What is that?" He flicks it. He goes, "That was a rock."
140. Yellow require
Oh, this is a much
104.
better leg scoring wise from Klassen. He's getting everything right here.
96.
That was very flashy. There aren't many players in the world, if any, and I'm not just saying this because he's playing right now, but but I genuinely mean this. And there are
57.
people in this
Yellow
building who
require
work
8.
on this production who
Game shown on the
believe
fourth
this
leg,
too.
Yellow Classen.
He gets the 3-1 lead with the first hold of throw. But Yellow Klassen is in the top 0.1% of
Fifth leg,
players in
Jordan
the
to
world
throw first. Game on.
at darting mathematics. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt.
$58.
If there was a sat-nav for going all the different routes it finishes, he would narrate it.
135.
There's literally a voice screaming in my ear right now telling me that he is the best in the world at dartboard mathematics.
That's why I said in the top
41.
0.1%. There are probably 3 or 4 players who can do what he can do with his darting brain.
81.
And they're probably all Dutch or Belgian. This has not been the ideal start for the man from Fleetwood. He's lost 4-1
59.
to the other Dutchman in the group. The same result might befall him here.
100.
I like Klassen's patience tonight because he could have lost it earlier in this game. He's held it together pretty well.
77.
His second game is against Mark Hilton. And if he plays like this, you can't deny that he will be a hot
140.
favourite to get to 8 points with 2 games to go. We might already be seeing our top
58.
3
Yellow require
making their
45.
move. Double 16.
29.
Just a little mutter to himself there because he wanted to get rid of this game as soon as possible.
$140. Yellow require 16.
Does he get rid of it this time? Well, how does he hit that? Give the man a boomerang.
Game.
Oh,
Shot.
he's
And
only
a
got an hit.
Yellow Classen.
Well, maybe because he's got Kyle Anderson's handprint on his left sleeve, he had a boomerang on his shoulder. What a dart from Jelle Klaassen, averaging over 88. That was a much better display than you'd probably see on that stat sheet. He commanded the game pretty much from the off with only 1 setback. And he is now on 6 points and vaults his way up to second position in the table. When we come back, we will see Alexander Merckx and Andy Bolton, but will it be their final match of the week?
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where that man, Andy Bolton, is trying to confirm his place at finals night. A man who won his week in the last series. He's looking to do that again, and victory in this game would secure his place in the big Saturday show tomorrow. He takes on Alexander Merckx, who is just behind him in the league table. Maybe a win for Alexander would be really bad news for Jordan Brooks, a man who's trying to catch the top three. Let's see which way this one goes and see if the X Factor can book his spot. And passing judgment on the X Factor, it's our very own Simon and Louis in the shape of Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Well, that's one comparison I've never had made my way, Murph.
First
I
leg,
will
Andy to throw first.
get you back for that, I assure you. But we're not going to judge these players. We're going to see what they can do. Britain has got talent. And we know that Andy's got talent because he starts with a maximum.
And just for the record, I'm Simon and you're Louis.
Apparently.
140.
That means you've only got black T-shirts in your wardrobe.
And really high-wearing trousers.
69.
And the phone number of a very, very good plastic surgeon, apparently. This game could be anything. They've played 4 times this week. Bolton's won 3 of them, all in the last 3 days. Solitary victory for Alexander came on Monday by 4 legs to 1.
96.
But the permutations of either person winning,
100. And your
I think the biggest one is that
156.
if Bolton wins, he goes to Saturday night with 2 games to spare. But if Alexander wins,
100.
that really is
Alexander
bad news for Jordan
161.
Brooks. Especially when he's got to play Bolton in game 6.
65. And you require 56.
Double top.
Game
is
on the
not
first
messing
leg,
around
Andy
tonight.
Bolton.
He is getting out of the gun like a 9mm bullet covered in treacle
Second leg, Alexander to throw first.
out of a cannon.
Game on.
But I don't like it.
You don't like treacle?
60.
No, I love it. I love this performance. See, I told you I was Simon. Now, Andy Bolton, I've said over this whole week so far, has been
41.
a little bit fidgety. Not here. Today he's got focus, determination. He said to you he wants to
60.
win all 4 games, which, like I say, you don't tend to get a dart player that says that. They'll always play down the chances. A bit like when a footballer does an interview and says, I want to score a goal. Well, obviously.
43.
But I just wonder, and we know we've got our reigning champion tuning in tonight, Luke Littler. I wonder what he's thinking about this from Andy
60.
Bolton, because the bookies made that move after seeing Andy Bolton yesterday to suggest this is the man, if anyone can stop Luke, it's him.
100.
And what I'm seeing tonight, it's got me thinking.
100.
Well, the mission is tonight for Bolton to get to Saturday. Same for Alexander. And then we can have that discussion tomorrow from 7:30 when we go on the air for the Week 9 finals. Plenty of fat to chew come Saturday night, that's for sure.
60.
We've already got 3 players under the age of 30 in Saturday night in the shape of Harry Ward, Sebastian Białowski and Littler. So to
43.
massage
Alexander
the other end of the spectrum,
161.
we could do with a couple of players with a bit more experience.
53.
I'm starting to think these points of Alexander are like chameleons. One time they're blue, then they're purple, then they're silver.
60.
Better not show these points to
Alexander
Peter Wright. He'd be
108.
snagging them off you. Look at them. I don't know what colour they are until they're under the light.
40. And you require 117.
He has only lost a small amount of legs in this group. But as far as tonight is concerned, he has not lost one.
77.
Bends the wire on that one.
Alexander requires 68.
Chance for Alexander to be the first person to take a leg off Andy here.
Game shown the
And
second
there
leg.
it is.
Alexander
He was very
Mertz.
effective on double 16 yesterday. And eventually he was in his first game against Jordan Brooks.
Third leg Andy to throw first. Game on.
Do you know how you know when you're getting engrossed in a game as a viewer? When you're sat pulling the same facial expressions as the players.
140.
And I'm literally sat here just pulling along with this because this game is so important here for the group. We know Andy Bolton wins this, he's guaranteed his qualification.
134.
And then we've only got 2 places left available for Saturday night. Where if Merckx wins this, it kind of makes a bit of a problem for Jordan Brooks to crash the party. It's sort of really important, not just for the players on stage.
I know what you mean about the expressions. It's a bit like when Alex
58.
Ferguson was manager of Manchester United and he used to head the ball in for his players from the bench. Do you remember that?
We've all done that at the football ground.
100.
I saw you kicking the coffee table the other day when Newcastle were playing PSG.
59. And you require 81.
That doesn't make me Sean Longstaff. Or Dan Byrne. Okay, so it's just going to be the setup. He was looking for the bullseye there to leave double 8.
49.
All's well that ends well, and it could end well if he finds double 16 himself. Breaking news from the Grand Prix in Leicester is that
95,
Joe Cullen
and
has
he required
beaten Chris
32.
Dobie, and he'll play Luke Humphries in the semi-finals on
Game shot the
Saturday.
third leg Andy
And
Bolton.
he's done so with a 1-2-1 on the bull. That has been done brilliantly for a 2-1 lead for Bolton, and I'm just
Fourth leg Alexander
getting
to
this
throw
feeling that
first. Game on.
nobody is going to stand in Bolton's way of winning this group. He's so comfortable with this format.
43.
It's almost like he's plotted his way this week, Matt, through this group in his head before he's even thrown a dart.
Well, he said he wanted to come into Group B, didn't he? This was his plan. Get into Group B, win
100.
Group B. This is plan A for Andy Bolton. He wanted the full week. He said he's made adjustments to his throw. Wanted to be a bit more sustainable, a bit more consistent. Well, there's no better way to test out consistency than playing 6 straight days of darts.
15 games in Group A and another 8 on top of that. That's
140.
23 pre-finals night.
137.
He'd love to play 27. The most you can play is 29. And the most that Luke Littler can play is 19.
100.
He's only lost a couple of games, both to Andy Bolton.
78.
But he did
And
get
you
Andy
require
back on Wednesday, didn't he?
161.
Oh, yes. Fine performance. And this could be a fine finish.
Game shot on the fourth
Bingo!
leg,
And a juicy
Andy
wiggle to
Bolton.
go with it. A 3-1 lead for X Factor. He's in the mood, all right. This is proper darts from him this evening.
Fifth leg Andy to throw first. Game on.
And if you are just joining us after watching the World Grand Prix, welcome to the Super Series Group B conclusion. Just a little recap of the night's results. Alexander Merckx
84.
kicked off the night, beating Jordan Brooks 4-1. Mark Hilton went down 4-0 to Andy Bolton, who put on a fine display,
60.
averaging nearly 97 in that one. In a Klassen 4-1 victory over Jordan Brooks. And that brings you up to date, as we are only in match number 4 tonight. So
100.
still 6 more games of darts to come your way this evening.
97.
Bolton played well yesterday against Alex as well. Averaged in the low 90s with a very commendable 40% on doubles.
57.
This is just a little bit better than that. And a loss to Andy here for
59.
Alex. puts him in the melting pot of the middle part of the table. His remaining fixtures
100.
are Jelle Klaassen and Mark Hilton. Just how much will he have to do against Hilton in that last game of the night
100.
to get to Saturday?
And you require 160.
I still think Hilton could be the X factor.
Oh, not another one.
120.
What a great reaction to missing tops for the match. He gave it the full lurch there.
On the back of hitting a
96.
161 the previous leg.
And you require 40.
He gets another crack at it. Well, he didn't want that. Double 5. Wants to get it done.
30.
It is not done
Alexander
yet.
require 89.
This game is like an undercooked steak.
Game shot on the fifth leg,
Keep it in the pan.
Alexander Merckx.
He can
Sixth leg
be
of Alexander
an
to
annoyance
throw
in a
first.
group,
Game
can
on.
Alexander Merckx, because he just doesn't give up.
100.
He gives away very little on the hockey as well. I think he's very watchable. And the answer to my own question from earlier about what he's got to do against Mark Hilton in Game 10, if there's anybody in this group that I would back to
117.
get 2 points in Game 10, it would be him. Because he knows how to finish a group
100.
off.
Just got to make sure he's in the position to do so.
Correct.
61.
Jordan Brooks, though, the man that is chasing down those top positions, does have to play Andy Bolton, who,
82.
there's no two ways about it, has been the standout player of this group. If it wasn't for Littler being in this week, I think we'd be talking
44.
so highly all the time of Andy Bolton. And I think it's just because we've got one of those darting giants in that we've not maybe put as much credit on the performances as we
100.
should.
Do you know what as well? I think the more months that we play and the more series that we play here in Portsmouth, we are bound to get
99.
more groups like
Alexander
this where
Roy,
we've got multiple
119.
weekly champions pitted against each other, because we have got a lot of weekly champions here this week. And there are more next week.
46.
We'll talk about that in a couple of games' time on the balcony.
That was a slip, though, and that's an invitation here for Andy Bolton. He'd love a 140.
60. Alexander requires
A
73.
rather disgusted look at a trebleless visit. Double 18.
55.
He had 3 darts at tops
And you
to get
require
rid of Alexander Merckx.
120.
He couldn't hit tops, 10s or 5s. If he doesn't hit this, he might not even win the match. One more chance.
Game
Oh, that's
shot
fabulous.
And the match, Andy
Because
Bolton.
if he doesn't hit that, he really does run the risk of getting himself back into the pack. But what we can now confirm is that we have 4 players in Saturday night. 3 of them are under the age of 30. And that man, Andy Bolton, who has won that by 4 legs to 2, he's 50 years old. And we've now got to seriously consider him as a possible 2-time weekly champion. Well, we're going to go through to game number 5 next to see what happens in the chasing pack between Hilton and Klaassen.
Welcome back to Friday night at the Super Series, where Andy Bolton has sealed his place at the Saturday show and looking to join him at finals night. Jelle Klaassen, who's taking on Mark Hilton in the 5th game of the evening. Hilton still in with a shout himself. If he can repeat the result against Klaassen last night, he moves on to 4 points, just 2 behind the man he's playing here. But a victory for the Cobra would all but seal his spot. So let's get the action back underway in the company of Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Thanks, Murph. This is the last game before half-time. And we've got 2 players on the hockey who are wearing brown shoes. You don't see that very often. It must be autumn coming up if the brown boots are coming out. And Mark Hilton, who is still on 2 points, has now seen Andy Bolton qualify in this table.
First leg yellow to throw first. Game on.
There are only 2 more spots up for grabs. Klaassen did an excellent job in his first game tonight, winning 4-1 against Jordan Brooks. If he wins this one, he will have 2 games left to get himself through.
29.
But he didn't win it yesterday, did he? This was the only game so far Mark Hilton's been able to record a victory in.
94.
So does that give Mark Hilton a little bit more of a lift coming into this game? Because he knows he can beat him, and he knows he can beat him on recent
59.
form.
Yeah, but is he dented from losing his first game 4-0 here this evening?
58.
Having said that, he did lose his first game yesterday by 4-0, and it didn't stop him on Thursday beating Klaassen. You ever played in Chelsea boots? Or any form of boot on the hockey?
No, never.
81.
I'm not really a guy that differs on his fashion too much either, you
100.
see, so...
Yeah, the boots that you've got with Klaassen are called Chelsea boots. They don't have any laces. They have an expandable ankle where you just pop them on with a little thing at the back. Rather fashionable
32.
things. Mark's wearing something akin to a chucker boot. Yeah, welcome to the fashion show that is Friday night at the Super
99.
Series, everybody. With 90 left after 15, he will take when Mark is nowhere near a finish. Until then,
140. Yellow require 90.
he went bull first earlier tonight. And he hit the bull
Game
just
from
like
the first
that.
leg, yellow
The last
Klaassen.
time he had it. That's even more impressive. How did that go in?
That was
Second
good.
leg mark to throw first.
Okay,
Game
I
on.
said it was a risky route earlier tonight. He's hit it twice. He's the king, he rocks, and he's won it twice, so I'm not seeing anything more on it. Just keep doing it.
Is it less risky
100.
for Jelle Klaassen because of the very long point? Does it keep the barrel a little bit further away that actually
80.
doesn't block up any of the ball?
Well, I think his thought process has got to be, at worst, I'm going to get a shot of the bull anyway. At best, I'm going to get 2 at tops. And I'd rather have 2 at tops than 2 at
43.
double 15. From that angle, I can see what he's thinking. Now, he is someone who has
96.
definitive opinions about certain things. He got in touch with us this afternoon. We had a debate about the 147 and 9 darter saga. Which one's harder? He is definitive in saying that a 9 darter is harder than a 147.
60.
His thought process on that is extensive, and you can ask him about it
139.
maybe tomorrow or indeed in Champions Week. But his main argument is that in snooker, you can fluke a ball more than once en route to a 147, whereas in darts, in a 9 darter, there is no
78.
fluke.
$56.
I think that also goes into what I was saying before, though, about the opinions of experts in their fields, because he'll feel you can't fluke one, but Dave down the pub will feel he could.
I think his
78.
other argument was the
Yellow
fact
require
that
130.
snooker is an anchored sport. Darts is not. Elbows, forearms, hands.
65.
It's all free moving.
Mark
Whereas in
require
snooker,
142.
the hand is on the table. It's an anchored sport.
Valid point. Never thought of that before. Very interesting point.
Yeah, I think it's a really intelligent point.
76. Yellow require 65.
This time he doesn't get the 25.
Game
But he does
shot
get the
second leg,
tops.
Yellow class.
The cream is rising to the top here on Friday night. Bolton is through with games to spare, and Klassen
Third leg yellow to
is
Thorovers.
right behind him in his slipstream.
I like that point. 'Cause you can even get the old
96.
rest out, can't you?
Yeah. He's got you thinking, hasn't he?
Well, now I'm thinking, shouldn't we be comparing it to a perfect game in bowling?
60.
Oh, I'm opening up rabbit holes here, aren't I?
Oh, well, that's a 300 game. I mean, that's hard.
94.
You can have a chat with him about it tomorrow. It's a really interesting point of view he's got about the whole thing. I've just
100.
been the tip of the iceberg with what he told me today. And what we've seen from him the last couple of days is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more in the locker.
180.
But he's showing a lot more in this game than he showed at any point yesterday. This knack that he has, which is very similar to that of Merckx. And we saw it the last time he won a weekly title.
31.
He saved his best darts for the semi-final and final that week. He squirted his way
91.
through some very murky waters throughout that week in Series 4. He wasn't happy with the way he played, but when it came to the semi-finals and final, he was flawless.
$73. Yellow require 40.
First time he's missed a double,
Game shot
but
the
it
third
doesn't
leg,
last long.
Yellow Klassen.
Second time today, we've seen somebody 3-0 up, throwing 50 darts. And of
Fourth
those
leg mark
50
to
darts, only
Thorovers.
one has missed
Game on.
at the outer ring.
Are we seeing the effects here of Mark Hilton of playing back-to-back days? For someone who hasn't
81.
played a lot of darts recently, in general, to have to play two darts with the level of intensity that the Super Series requires,
60.
are we seeing the effects of that right now?
Potentially. Because you and I both know that Klassen is always on the road. He's always playing somewhere. And last week he was in Denmark playing World Cup darts for the Netherlands under pressure
90.
with great players like Wesley Plazier. And he won last week as well as a team.
94.
I saw some footage actually of him in a team environment. And he was on the winning shot and he hit it with his third dart.
45.
And Wesley Plazier was jumping up and down.
81.
Just another feather in his cap in what has been a rather incredible career. It's nowhere near finished yet. He's only in his late 30s. Feels like he's been around for decades, because he has.
96.
He's definitely got another 18 years in him.
99.
And in 18 years, he will be Mark Hilton's age now.
Starting younger all the time, but yet so are the development systems now when you look at things like
58.
the
Yellow require
JDC
167.
and the accessibility now we've got to quality players through things like the ADC, through systems like Dart Atlas, Dart Connect, and
91.
obviously
Mark require
big events like the
131.
Super Series.
Needs to find another treble, but can't. meaning that Mark
91.
could
Yellow
be
Bar
done 4-0
76.
twice in 2 games.
Game
A
shot.
doubling
And a
performance
match yellow
that he
class.
will adore, because the 2006 Lakeside champion has just done 4 hits from 5. He leaves the stage very happy because he's now on 8 points, just 2 points behind Andy Bolton at the top. He's done a fabulous job in the first half of play tonight. As for Hilton, it's looking very bleak with 2 games to go. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll have a little chat with Matt and Chris. And following that, Jordan Brooks against Andy Bolton. It promises much.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series on this Friday night, which of course means it is the last chance for players to make it through to finals night tomorrow. Here's what's happened so far. Matthew Edgar, what's the most significant result for you there? We know that Andy Bolton's already through, but what result has maybe made the most difference to the group?
I don't think any individual result has. We're not at that stage of the group yet. I think what we've done, though, is we've got a continuation of a story. And the continuation of the story there is all bad news for Jordan Brooks. And it's all good news for the prediction that we had of Merckx, Klassen and Bolton. Because every result's gone sort of against Jordan Brooks here at the moment in terms of his chances of qualifying. Because although he's been losing his games, the games that he's wanted to go his way when he's been stood watching have all gone against him. So it's not an individual thing, it's a collection.
Yeah, and it certainly started at the beginning of the night going against Jordan Brooks because Alexander Merckx kind of took him apart in the opening match and set the sign of things to come.
Yeah, it was a really good performance there from Alexander Merckx at the start of the night. I highlighted that as being, how's the story going to go? We said it's gone against Jordan Brooks, but we could have had that same story, just changing the title to going against Alexander Merckx. And it all hinged on that first game. Alexander Merckx did really, really well, handled it really good in that one, came out on top, and that's why he's a weekly winner here.
Yeah, and what we do know is that Andy Bolton is through and he's produced some really good stuff. Again, starting really well tonight, the X Factor got off to a flyer 4-0 against Mark Hilton. And then when he met Alexander Merckx, he produced some stunning checkouts en route to qualifying.
He's been absolutely brilliant tonight, Andy Bolton. 161, he nearly won it with a 160 just the very next leg. Instead, he won it with a 120. He's been absolutely brilliant. If it wasn't for the fact that we've been highlighting Luke Littler so much, we'd be talking so much about Andy Bolton. And I feel like we really do need to consider him here as a potential champion because he has already beat Luke Littler twice this week already. And the odds compilers think so as well. They keep bringing him in. This is going to be a fight, I think, between these two.
Indeed. Let's have a look at the table. We know that Luke Littler already made it through Group A. Bolton was second in that group, and he beat Littler twice, don't forget. He's done it the easy way tonight, hasn't he? Got it done early, because when we looked at this table at the start of the night, we thought we could be still working out all sorts of permutations right up until the end of the evening.
We still might for that final space. Yellow Klassen's pretty much there. And the reason for that is those good leg difference. Not many players have got a very healthy leg difference. Klassen's got a very strong one. So realistically, Klassen can still lose matches as long as he keeps them tight. So his bar is lowering all the time. Still a bit of a race for third place, and we may still have some questions to ask.
Yeah, in fact, Yellow Klassen could be through before he even plays again if Andy Bolton wins this match, or even just gets a couple of legs in it against Jordan Brooks. That will confirm Klassen's place at finals night as well. Right, just parking this week for a moment, let's take a look at next week's lineup. Here are the 12 players competing at the Super Series. And this afternoon, if you were watching, I did challenge Paul Nicholson to pronounce some of the names there. So Matt, are you going to have a go at a few?
Absolutely. We've got Jim Long. We've got Dan Reed, Jim McEwen, and Adam Mould.
Very good. 4 out of 4. Absolutely superb. That is the best performance that Matthew Egg has ever given at the MODUS Super Series. So really good stuff. Oscar Lacasiak in there as well, a player who hit a 9-dart finish when he was just 12 years of age. Unfortunately, that was 19 years ago. He hasn't another one since, but one to watch out for. Another story there as well. But yeah, back to tonight. Bolton versus Brooks. You mentioned it hasn't gone the way of Jordan Brooks tonight, but he still does have a chance to change that, doesn't he?
And whenever you've got a chance, you're a happy player. It might be slightly out of his hands now, which is something you hate, when you kind of need other results to go your way. But whenever he's got a chance, he's still swinging. People put the lottery on every single week, and that's a very, very small chance. This is a better chance than a lottery. He's still in here. He's still swinging.
Yeah, still in his hands. So let's see if he can pull off what would be an upset with the man who is flexing his muscles at the top of the table, Andy Bolton. Matthew Edgar is going to go downstairs to join Paul Nicholson.
Great pronunciation there, Matt. I've got to give you an A+ on that one. But you did cop out on some of the harder ones. Although I'll be sticking around for next week, so I'll have a bit of practice when it comes to Victor Tingstrom and Dmitry Zhukovs. But it is a particularly international field for next week. As for here tonight, you've got the Netherlands with 2 players. You've got Scotland with Andy Bolton and 2 English players in the shape of Jordan Brooks and Mark Hilton. But at the minute, it looks like England are losing this battle because the 2 English players are in the bottom 2, and that might be staying the case.
First leg, Jordan to throw first. Game on.
Like Chris Murphy mentioned, we have our first permutation for another person qualifying. And they're not even playing in this game. Yellow Klassen's done his job. He's won his first couple of matches tonight by a margin.
100.
Because of that, if Andy Bolton wins 2 legs in this game, Yellow Klassen will become the 3rd weekly champion in MODUS Super Series history
100.
to make the Week 9 finals here in Series 5. And before we go any further into this, there are still a limited
43.
amount of tickets left for Saturday night. Please get in touch with us. If you want to be here, be quick, because it looks very much like Bolton, Littler,
140.
Harry Ward, Sebastian Bioetsky, and in the next few minutes, it could be 2006 Lakeside Champion Klassen as well, with one more
100.
space to get.
$60.
If that was a Champions Week lineup going into the Saturday, would you be surprised?
Not at all. Of the people that have already qualified, Bioetsky has been to multiple Saturday nights. He hasn't got a weekly title yet. Harry Ward is making his second appearance
165
in a
Jordan
Saturday
Require
night.
158.
And the others have won on a Saturday night. It's a stacked field. And if you
44.
think there's going to be any sort
And he
of
requires
slowing down
36.
here for Andy in his final 2 matches, think again. He's already told us he wants to win all 4 matches tonight. And he does have a score to settle against Jordan because he's the person
28.
that beat him yesterday.
Jordan, you require 114.
He's the only one to beat him in this group.
Double top.
74. And you require 8.
I get the feeling the Sheriff might not be a fan of chalk, you know. There's a little bit of chalk left on the
In front of the first
dartboard,
leg,
courtesy
Andy
of Mark
Bolton.
Hilton. His darts were spitting it out. Andy's not too fussed. Another leg in the
Second
bank
leg,
for him.
Andy to throw first.
That's his 9th
Game on.
leg win of the night. He has lost only 2. One more leg for Bolton. And
97.
Klassen is back in a Saturday night again. And he's got 2 weekly titles, just like Littler.
$83.
And then there was one. There would only be one spot left available, and Jordan Brooks would only have 1 game left after this one. It would make Alexander
97.
Merckx strong favourite. He'd have 2 chances to get over the line.
Well, if Merckx was to beat Klassen next, it would be done with 3 games to go. Because Brooks has run out of games. It's very much back against the
120.
wall, into the corner, and got to come out swinging now kind of stuff.
Swinging, I think you've got to come out windmilling to get out of that one.
I
121.
think he categorised the way that Andy's played tonight brilliantly at the half-time break there. He has been superb. And we now have to really take notice about what he could do on Saturday night in what's a really lethal format.
51.
By the end of the night, we will tell you the 6 players in the finals, but we will also tell you who will play each other in the groups, which could
100.
stipulate what path you have to take to get the title this week and the £5,000 cheque.
$100. And you require 86.
Jordan's finding himself in that low 80s range again, which Andy is gobbling up for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
70.
He said earlier he's been playing very well coming into
Jordan, you
this week.
require 147.
His form is improving day on day. It's back to the 147 argument. Red. Misses the green.
95. And he requires 16.
To double his lead. And to put Yellow Klassen through.
Game shot on the second leg. And
We have another Dutchman in a weekly final. Jelle Klaassen in his third consecutive
to throw first.
weekly final here at the MODUS Super Series. He was there in Series 3. He was there in Series 4, and he will be there on Saturday night in Series 5. That is now guaranteed.
And I can guarantee you Jelle
97.
Klassen probably doesn't know right now that he's qualified. Although then again, you did say he was one of the best mathematicians in the world.
And there is a laptop in the
96.
practice room with legs won, legs difference, points. He'll be about 6 inches away from that laptop right now, counting his fingers. And he's about to get some good news.
Well, there's a
96.
17 leg difference at the moment between Jelle Klassen and Jordan Brooks. So I think he might run out of fingers.
You can use somebody else's. Alexander's got 10 fingers.
140.
We can just give him a MODUS Super Series abacus for about 5 minutes. He can use that. So the state of play now in this table is very,
60.
very clear. Jordan now has to focus on trying to get the points in this game. If he can't, the best he can do in the table is 6 points, and he needs Mertz to lose to Jelle Klaassen
95.
and Mark Hilton. All the while, he'd need to beat Mark Hilton himself in Game 8. It's not insurmountable. But the thing that worries me the
81.
most about that
And he requires
is
170.
Mertz playing Hilton in Game 10. That's always been the ace up the sleeve of Alexander. Got a 161 tonight.
145.
Super close
Jordan, you require
to
167.
another 170 finish this week. The first coming from Littler. The average is pretty good. I say it's pretty good. It's better than
57.
pretty good.
And he
But
requires
the
25.
crazy thing is, he's averaging 98.5 and he's missed 6 starts at double already. It could be sailing above the 100 mark.
Nine. Jordan, you require 110.
We've seen a lot of people this week on 110 going 19s first, but Jordan's not going to do that. Or is he? Shot still on. There hasn't
38.
been a great deal of likelihood
And he
with his game
requires
tonight.
16.
He's been chasing the whole time. And he's
Games on the
chasing
third
Andy
leg,
Bolton, who is
Andy
3-0 up.
Bolton.
Everything's going his way.
Fourth leg, Andy to throw
He's
first.
played 13 legs tonight,
Game on.
Andy Bolton. And he's won 11 of them. And very convincingly as well.
Yeah, definitely a class apart. I know Luke Littler is watching this tonight.
59.
And I think what this could be is a wake-up call for Littler, who knows that he's not going to be able to cruise to a third consecutive weekly win to make another Champions Week.
134.
Because this guy could be standing in his way.
What's interesting is the winner of Group B, it means he will avoid Luke Littler as the winner of Group A in the first phase of the evening. And if they both went on to win their
100.
groups, they'd avoid each other in the semi-final as well. They could be on a collision course to play this week out because they've got that opportunity in terms of the pathways.
Don't forget, there is the opportunity of being in the same group as somebody and meeting them in the final.
100.
Those complexities will be spoken about. both later tonight and into tomorrow.
100.
Andy's final game in this group is against Jelle Klaassen. There's not going to be much pressure on that one, because by the time that comes, it looks as if
60.
Bolton might have won the group already.
$59.
Speaking to him earlier tonight, he looked motivated, he looked calm, and he looked thoughtful. It's almost as if he was in this lovely little headspace of, I know what I've got to do, and I am going to do it. The end of that conversation was akin to, I'll get my job done tonight and I'll see you tomorrow.
80.
It was that swift.
He's trying to make swift work of it, though, as well, isn't he? He's going through the cards pretty convincingly.
81.
Going through the card this week has been a very difficult
Jordan,
thing
you
for people
require
to do.
127.
We've seen Littler do it. We saw Białecki do it yesterday. Harry Ward did it today.
102.
Misses the ball for the 1-2-7, and that might be the last dart he
Andy
throws in
require
this match.
102.
Because we know that Bolton has got an affinity with a ton plus checkout to win a game here this evening. Rejection.
45.
It was the same numbers as well as what he won the last one.
Jordan,
We
you
won the
require
last match with a
25.
120 finish.
Now this one is to keep this going. 2 4s.
21.
Needed but not found.
Andy require 57.
Remarkably, Andy has bossed this game and has still missed 8 darts at double. Double top.
47.
I think you could
Jordan,
categorise
you require 4.
that as faffing around.
Game shot on the
The
fourth
game
leg,
continues.
Jordan Brooks.
We aren't going to get our third 4-0, but it could be another wide margin.
Fifth leg, Jordan to
We haven't had any games go the distance here
Game
tonight.
on.
The closest match was between Bolton and Merckx. And that was a game where Bolton had those 2 ton plus finishes of 161 and 120.
40.
Can you envisage Jordan getting out of this now?
60.
Because for 2 reasons, I say no. 1, I don't think he's playing good enough tonight. Secondly, he's running out of games.
And thirdly, it would mean he's got to win the next 3 legs against Andy Bolton, which,
60.
the way Andy Bolton's been so consistent, you'd say is a little unlikely. Because 2 things have got to happen for this to come into play.
59.
Jordan Brooks has got to raise his performance, and Andy Bolton's got to drop it.
And he doesn't really
99.
spring me as a butterfingers. I don't think he's going to drop it. Originally, these 2 aren't too far apart geographically. And they originally
100.
from towards the northwest. I suppose you can categorise it as the Midlands. But you can get from the West
58.
Midlands and the northwest of England towards Fleetwood in around 90 minutes. It's
100.
not really seen as a massive heavyweight town anymore in darts, Stoke. Whereas it used to be the place of Taylor, White, Lewis, Frost, and more.
95.
Andy, originally from the county of Staffordshire, moved up to Scotland years ago, represents that
100.
country now.
Jordan, you require 149.
You've got Jordan Brooks wearing the red rose on the collar, signifying he is a Lancashire player.
97. And you require 82.
Another chance to win the match. He's already had a couple of very good chances. This is another one at tops.
42.
Sails over the bar.
Jordan, you
Has the
require
intensity
52.
been lowered here?
Game shot
That's a
of the fifth
fine
leg,
find.
Jordan
This
Brooks.
game continues. And I'll tell you one person who's hating this. That's Alexander Merckx right now.
Six leg Andy
He
to
was
throw first.
Probably
Game on.
feet up in the practice room thinking, you know what, I haven't got much more to do. If I beat Yella next, I'm going to be through. But hang fire a minute.
134.
Brooks is still in this game. He could still win 4-3, which would take him to 6 points, albeit behind Merckx in leg difference.
58.
And if that happens, Jordan becomes a tremendous Yella Klassen fan.
$100.
But is he running out of legs as well as matches? That 156 that he got yesterday, it was one of the most befuddling finishes I've ever seen. Because when he hit the first treble 20, I couldn't read his reaction.
140.
Then he hit the second 60 and he went for double 18 and hit it. And then he shook his head as if to say, I'm not really sure how I did that. But he's not going to get out of this.
94. And you
Unless
require
Andy
127.
Goes missing. I could use the treble 16 here. Hasn't even looked at it.
44.
Should he have used the treble 16 there?
I think he's got that much time that he can sort of make a mistake. I mean, there's always that argument, isn't there? Do you have to go round the board when you've got that bit of extra time? But yes, it's
100.
the percentage shot, but
And you require 83.
he's got plenty of darts to do it in.
Yes, he does. Minimum 2 visits for 83. Double 8.
67.
Another match start missed. At least he's coming back this time with 3 darts in hand.
97.
Surely Jordan Brooks
And
has
you
used up
require
all his lives in
16.
this game. Although we have seen somebody lose a match today, missing 10
Game
match
shot
darts.
And the match,
But it's not going to be Andy.
Bolton.
He wins by 4 legs to 2 in this one. Andy goes to 12 points in the table, 4 clear of the now qualified Yella Klassen. Alexander Merckx on 6 points is not safe yet because Jordan Brooks is lurking 2 points behind him. But he's only got 1 match left. Yella Klassen will play Merckx next, and if Alex wins, he will be through to another Saturday night.
Well, the finals night field is nearly filled this week at the MODUS Super Series, and that man there could complete the lineup for Saturday night. Alexander Merckx taking on Jelle Klassen in the next game. Klassen has already qualified, did so after that last match. The win for Andy Bolton, the league leader, securing Klassen's place at finals night. Merckx can join him if he wins here. In fact, if he gets to 3 legs, that will be enough for Alexander Merckx to go through and eliminate Brooks and Hilton from proceedings. They play after this, but Merckx knows what he needs to do, and if he didn't before, he might have just heard me tell him. Let's hand you back to Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to watch what you say on the balcony, Murph. We've all been there. But this is an old Dutch clash, and we've seen plenty of battles like that this week between the likes of Merckx and Patrick van den Bogaard.
First leg yellow to throw first. Game on.
But we have seen the likes of Mandigas and Patrick eliminated. We're about to see a fast flinging game. Will it be as quick as yesterday? Because 6 minutes 51 seconds. So Klassen win by 4 legs to 0 yesterday. That is the last thing that Alexander wants tonight.
It's interesting you say things about, well, now the players will know because they've heard me play on the balcony. I walk to the toilet, I can hear Chris Murphy on the balcony, which is further away than the stage is. However, when I played in this, I didn't hear a single word of what was said up there.
Interesting.
130.
I don't think we're going to get much time to mull over things in this game.
83.
They
Alexander
both got a
51.
maximum in the first leg of this match. But Alexander has taken it in 11 darts.
Alexander Merckx.
And he's broken it in a minute. 59 seconds.
Second leg Alexander to throw first. Game
Remember
on.
that TV show when they used to go around and cut open the storage lockers and sell it all on auction?
Storage wars.
I feel like we're going to have to
137.
commentate like the auctioneer used to. Remember when he's like, bid number 3, bid number 4, bid number 5?
100.
And don't forget to pay the lady.
100.
I feel like that's how we're going to have to commentate on this game because this is potentially going to break yesterday's record.
This isn't
60.
an auction. This is darts. But yes, it is quick. Every time someone hits a double,
100.
we're going to have to say, yep.
$137.
And if they miss,
Alexander require 164.
You say no. But he might not miss.
121.
This is a really good blitz from Alexander the Great.
83. Alexander require 43.
This is exactly what he needed, even though he's missed a single.
27. Yellow require 121.
51 for Bull. Not found.
58.
And as the
Alexander
seconds
requires
tick
16.
by, Jordan Brooks's participation in
On the second
Saturday
leg,
is wilting
Alexander Merckx.
like cold spinach in a hot pan with butter on top.
Third leg yellow to throw first. Game on.
One more leg, and Alexander will join Klassen
55.
in Saturday night. And if that is the case, it would be Littler, Białecki, Ward,
135.
Bolton, Klassen, Merckx. 4 weekly champions
58.
from previous series in the same finals night. And the only 2 that haven't got them are Białecki, who's got a perfect record in
134.
making Saturdays here, against Ward, who was only on his way on the comeback.
190.
In the time it took you to tell us who could potentially be playing on Saturday night,
90.
we're nearly at the end of the leg.
I'll just be quiet.
41.
Well, he's left to
Alexander
finish.
require
Look on the bright side,
142.
Yella.
50. Yellow require 167.
Is he going to find it?
99.
It looks like he's using the same equipment as the previous two games.
Game shot
There
the
it
third
is
leg,
then.
Alexander Merckx.
It's all sewn up. Whether he knows it or not, he's back on Saturdays.
Fourth leg, Alexander to throw first.
They both
Game
are. What a great performance this has been from Alexander. He's thrown 42 darts for a 3-0 lead. It's fast becoming the performance of the week.
And let me just rewind.
140.
About half an hour ago, you said if it comes down to that last game, Alexander Merckx will perform because he performs best in this
136.
situation.
Well, there you go.
55.
I've seen it enough times. He has the tendency, when the urgency button is pressed, to go a little bit crackers.
85.
This is performance of the week so far. And in the
121.
context of what it means, just makes it even more impressive.
64.
There's 64 off to leave a Shanghai 120. And here's what's weird. If he hits this, he will
Alexander
beat
Poir,
Klassen
120.
quicker than Klassen beat him yesterday. Double top.
80. Yellow
In
requires
fact,
51.
had he hit that, he would have broken 5.5 minutes. He still has a
31.
chance.
Alexander
for
requires
4-0.
40.
There it
Game
is.
shot and the match.
An
Alexander
astonishing quick game of darts. That did not take long. And if you consider the fact that yesterday's 4-0 was quick at 6 minutes 51, that one was 70 seconds quicker. And it's one of the best performances of the week. Alexander Merckx has just rubber stamped his way into Saturday night for another time and another chance for a second weekly title. Yellow's already got 2. He might even have 3 this time tomorrow. So much to talk about when we come back. But the next game is between 2 eliminated players, Hilton and Brooks.
And you do not want to miss this week's finals night. If you are in and around Portsmouth and can get to the live lounge, get yourself a ticket because it will be worth it. The Super Six at the Super Series this Saturday is now in place. Andy Bolton, Alexander Merckx and Jelle Klaassen all qualifying from this group, and they will join Sebastian Bierwetski, Harry Ward, and of course the two-time back-to-back reigning champion Luke Littler. Well, still 3 games to fulfill in this group, and the first is the 2 players that will be leaving us at the end of the evening. It's the last match of the night for Jordan Brooks, and Mark Hilton is his opponent, and they're going to have to go some to make it any more spectacular than that last one. Talking you through it, Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Yeah, they're going to have to get their skates on, Murph, that's for sure. Because first and foremost, this is a battle between 2 players who are, yes, eliminated from the possibility of making Saturday night. One of these players is about to get their first win of Friday night / Saturday morning. But let's touch on that previous game because we have just witnessed a little bit of Super Series history. We have just had it confirmed by our head honchos here in Portsmouth that game for Alexander Merckx beating Jelle Klaassen by 4-0 was the quickest game ever in Super Series history by 7 seconds. It wasn't even close in the end.
To Throwfers.
We had it double and triple checked. The previous record of 5 minutes 48 by Graham Usher over Gavin Carlin, it has been smashed. And here's the scary thing, Matthew Edgar. At 5 minutes 41,
100.
Merckx now has that record, but had he hit tops earlier in the leg, he would have done it even quicker.
It wasn't just brilliant, it was quick. And the record might stand
100.
for quite some time because actually when you think about it, the ingredients you need a quality player who is fast, playing someone else who is fast. We don't get them
80.
sort of matches very often.
We don't. I'm trying to do my mental arithmetic right now. And I want you to think about this for the next few
81.
minutes. The 2 games that they have had have taken around 12 minutes.
45.
Just a shade over. "12 minutes, 32 seconds for 2 completed games."
134.
Just compute that. It makes my mind spin. We've had games tonight that have gone longer than that, and they haven't had that many
41.
legs. Anyway, these 2 are going to be leaving us after they're finished, and this is the last match for Jordan. Last chance for him to get points. Mark will
100.
have another chance if he was to falter. He will play the speedster, that is Alexander the Great, in game number 10.
But I feel this game represents 2 completely different mindsets. Mark Hilton's coming into this
76.
game going, "Ah, great, I've got another game of darts. I didn't expect to get
Gordon
through the
Uruguayer,
group."
86.
Jordan Brooks is playing with probably disappointment because he probably expected to go through.
Game shot on the first leg.
He's not going to go
Jordan
through, but he
Brooks.
has got the first leg there, and that's a really good start. 14 darter.
Second
If you
leg,
aren't
Jordan
going to qualify,
Throwfers.
the ideal way to
Game on.
leave is with a nice performance, with nice punctuation. And more darts like that will get it done. And then it's the long drive home. Because Portsmouth to Fleetwood,
140.
that takes a while.
Yeah, I've done that drive. It's not pleasant.
I remember a couple of years ago, I was covering the World Match Play in
81.
Blackpool, just down the road from Fleetwood. As soon as the final was over, I had to drive to Southampton through the night. Takes a while.
140.
But in this business, as a dart player, you just get used to the fact you have to go from place to place, sleeping in different places with the same suitcase right next to you. It's part and parcel of
60.
what we have to do for what we want. And as for Jordan, he will look to his next challenge, which is probably the Irish Open.
41.
There is a big Open going on this weekend over in Belgium, actually, on the WF circuit.
Ah, the Bruges Open. And also the Belfry
25.
Open is on, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. That's on this weekend. There's a couple of things on this month. Latvia's on this month. Hungary.
You've also got the Geelong Dart Club Classic in Australia. Fine town, Geelong. About
55.
90 minutes west of Melbourne. Some of my pals will be going to that one. One of the last ranking events in qualification for Lakeside, in fact. So if you want to get to that one, Matt, you should have left yesterday.
100.
Lakeside Cup
Jordan,
is
you
the
require
28th of
125.
October, I believe, which is the same weekend as the Hungarian.
$89.
This is where you've got to have a bit of really creative schedule management, because there are so many different tournaments you can go to. And when you throw Super Series into that, you've got to be mindful
99.
of something
Jordan, you require 36.
where if you qualify for Champions Week, you might not be able to go to the thing that you originally wanted to go to. Double 16 has already been hit in this game by Jordan. He'd like to hit it again.
Four.
Not quite.
Mark, you require 136.
It's on. It's off.
78.
An opportunity here for Jordan Brooks to confirm that
Jordan, you
breaker
require
throw.
32. Game on the second
It's
leg,
always
Jordan
A
Brooks.
bit bittersweet, isn't it, when you sort of in a position to win your final game, but knowing it doesn't really help your position in terms of the table.
Third leg, Mark to throw first. Game on.
He had success when he's been down here before. He's had success on the WF circuit.
Can we just take a bit of a diversion? Because I'm just looking into some of the tournaments that are
27.
happening over the next couple of weeks. And you know how the United States are absolute masters at naming tournaments. You know they have the best named tournaments in the world. It's not even up for debate.
60.
In Littleton, Colorado, next week, they have a tournament on called the Hedgehog Hellraiser. Beat that if you can. Who comes up with these
92.
names?
Now imagine if the Hedgehog Hellraiser was won by Smurf Pudding. A player we've spoke about in the afternoon session, if you weren't familiar
97.
with. A player playing on the ADC circuit.
We've definitely made Smurf very famous. You know, that's the kind of ranked event I want you to win, Matt. Get yourself over to Boston or
30.
anywhere in America on the East Coast or even towards the middle and the West Coast. Find yourself a really weird named tournament, and I want your name strap to say winner of the Choo Choo Classic. Something like that. That is a tournament as well, the Choo Choo Classic.
And I
85.
thought Hedgehog Hellraiser was the one.
I'm talking about a player right
140.
next to me who has won in Slovenia recently. He's won in Iceland. And now I think I might have just lit the blue touch paper for what he wants to do next. He wants to win some of the weirdest name tournaments.
134.
I get the feeling Jordan Brooks might win this game, though. He's been better than Hilton. He's been doing stuff in this game that he wasn't doing earlier.
Well, that Slovenia one was probably one of the weirdest locationed ones.
100.
People ask you when you get back, what did you get up to?
Jordan, you require
Nothing. It was in the middle of a
125.
woods. Did you go and see anything? Yeah, trees. There was nothing for miles around. I even went on Google Maps thinking there must be something. Zoomed out, no. Trees.
Was it nice, though?
45.
It's not my thing.
Mark
You
your
don't
require
like trees?
112.
Well, there was trees, one food place, and a graveyard that had lots of red lights in it.
Speaking of red,
Game
Beautiful shot from Mark.
Hilton.
very different game now. He's just gone straight down the hockey, thinking he's
Portland
throwing next,
Jordan
then he's
to
realised he's
Rovers.
not.
Game on.
That's ring rust, that right there. Because when you're playing all the time, you get the rhythms of the game, the rhythm of the breaks and things like that. He was completely lost there. He really thought he broke the throw. And that one needs a sound effect. Ba-doing. That's like our good friend Pete, isn't it?
So is Pete back?
Pete Burgoyne, the
40.
man with the biggest appetite in world darts.
Well, he hasn't took it out the flight yet. Maybe he's going to do a Callan Rids.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, Jordan.
I don't think he's going to fix the
83.
equipment.
He's just taking it out. Those points he uses are very, very sharp.
Has he got any spares? It looks like he's just got a towel.
Tell you what, that stem might be damaged. Word to the wise, everybody. If you are playing a darts match like this, take spares with you. You never know when you might need them.
58.
Well, the flight would definitely be damaged. A dart went through the flight, so that's going to split that open.
Now, it might have hit the stem ring. But with the points that he's using, anything is possible because they are
135.
knife sharp. Remaining fixtures here tonight. Andy Bolton against Yella Klassen will follow this.
44.
And Alexander Merckx, who has qualified with a game to spare, has got Mark Hilton in game 10.
$82.
Another tournament that's coming up over the next couple of weeks. And there are plenty
96.
of tournaments going on worldwide. You've got the Malaysian Open. Matt, fancy going to Malaysia? It's quite hot out there when you play
It's
darts
quite
there.
far away, though, isn't it?
It's a long way away.
129.
Beautiful country, though. Lots of trees. We said, courtesy of that 112 checkout, his first start at a double in this match. Hilton might change things. Double 12. Double 3. Was he genuinely thinking about leaving this on double 2? I think that's a really wise move. First thought, can I bust it? No, that's silly. Secondly, what's the prudent shot here? Leaving double 2 or going for double 3? I like what he did there.
140.
Let's see if we like what he does
Mark
now.
require 4.
That is pretty awkward. He's almost in Southampton. Oh,
No
and he
score.
gets a dangler. There's
Jordan, you
all
require
sorts happening in
28.
this game. We've got Robin Hoods, hat stands, danglers. Welcome to a bit of a bibliography of darting terms. Hasn't taken his eye off the target.
Game
And does a
shot
fabulous job for a 3-1 lead.
Brooks.
I have just consulted with Darts VAR,
Fifth leg mark
Oh,
to
no.
throw first. Game on.
and even now it's inconclusive as to what's happened with that equipment. He's definitely thrown with something damaged. I think he's caught some of the flight, but he has hit the stem ring.
The most
60.
important thing is, if you've consulted Darts VAR, do Liverpool want a replay?
It looks offside to me.
That's the last thing we need in this sport. No offside rule. I think the referees have got enough to do.
41.
What did you make of that thing with Callan Rids last week where he could only use 2 darts in the last leg?
83.
Because if you didn't see it on the Pro Tour, he snatched 3 darts out of the board and one of the points snapped in half and remained in the board. He could extract the point from the board,
58.
but then couldn't use one of the darts. And because he didn't have spares and he was 5-1 down, he decided to go with 2 darts and almost won the leg against Dylan Slevin. Just goes to show,
100.
anything can happen with your equipment. Have spares. If you've found a set of darts that you like, get 2.
39.
Poses some interesting questions, though, doesn't it? Because if you are able to throw with 2, do you have to throw all 3 darts? If you've thrown 2 darts and you think, no, that's fine, I don't want to risk busting that, can you just go collect your 2 and come back
41.
with 3 darts again?
I'll have to consult the rule book for that one.
Stumps you, don't it, that sort of thinking? That's how my brain works, unfortunately.
No, it's a valid question.
66.
This game is now longer than the 2 fixtures of Merckx and Klassen over the last couple of nights. And it's not even close.
95.
12 minutes, 32 seconds for the 2 fixtures between the Dutchmen.
38.
This one
Marker
is
require
already over 16 minutes.
122.
Does that paint the picture a little bit?
Well, the game we've just seen, Klassen and Merckx, we could have played it 3 times in the length of this game.
44.
Silly, silly stuff. And when you consider who is going to Saturday night, there's a lot of quick players in there.
121.
Little as quick.
Marker requires 78.
Harry Ward's quick. Klassen and Merckx are quick. It's going to be quick fire action come Saturday night. Of that, there is no doubt. This is to save the match.
58.
This is to win the match.
Jordan, you require 138.
Not only are they all very quick, but they're all very good. Good ingredients for a good night. There's only one ingredient left, really. Nice little crowd
38.
coming and joining us.
Marker require 20.
Yeah, get yourself down here. You won't
No
like
score.
that. All Jordan
Jordan,
wants
you
here
require
is a nice
100.
big fat 60 for 2 shots at tops to finish his campaign on a high. There's the 60.
$80.
Can't find the double. And Hilton now
Marker
goes for the
require
double
20.
that Jordan has just missed. Another awkward shot.
No
And he
score.
can't find it.
Jordan, you require 20.
Could be his last dart.
Game.
And it is his last
and the
dart
match, Jordan
of
Brooks.
this campaign. Mark Hilton has still got a game to go against Alexander Merckx in a couple of games' time. But Jordan Brooks gets his only win of the night in his last game here in Group B, here in Week 9. So it's goodbye to Jordan for now. The Sheriff, I'm sure, will return at some time in the future. There you can see he wins that one by 4 legs to 1.
It's Friday night at the MODUS Super Series, and the last 3 places at finals night on Saturday have been taken, and 2 of those places have been taken by the players who are about to go head-to-head now. A meeting between Andy Bolton, the X-Factor, who has won Group B and is looking to go through the field tonight with 4 wins from 4. Faces Yellow Class and has thrown some very, very decent darts himself this evening, guiding you through the action of what could be a very high-quality affair. It's Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Yes, we think this could be good. We are past the midnight hour now, and it's time to rubber stamp where people are. Because Alexander Merckx is in 2nd position at the minute. He could be overtaken by Yellow Klassen here, but one person who is not going to be overtaken is Andy Bolton. It is now official that he has won Group B. So your group winners
First leg, Andy, to
this week
throw first.
are
Game
all
on.
participants from Group A. Littler, of course, won Group A in the first 3 days of the week. Białecki graduates to Group C and wins that one. with 18 points from 20.
57.
Bolton wins this one, he'd have 14 points from a possible 16 after graduating from Group A.
125.
This week, we've got a carbon copy of what happened in Week 8, with 4 players in Saturday night who started
36.
Monday morning. Performance yesterday,
61.
or should I say now, it's 2 days ago, because it's 12:30. Bolton was fabulous against Klassen in Game 2. On day 1 of Group B.
134.
He averaged almost 98 and hit 80% of his doubles. He might be in the mood again.
138.
And Klassen might be reeling from losing that game to Merckx in 5 minutes and 41 seconds.
140.
I think Andy
Bar
Bolton's just
52.
been in the mood tonight. He came in talking like a
Game
winner
shot the
as well,
first
didn't he?
leg,
Which is a
Andy
big
Bolton.
difference here.
Some people do talk a good game, but sometimes they can't
Second leg
walk
yellow
the
to
walk.
throw first.
So far, this week, everything seems to be happening the way that Andy Bolton
139.
thinks it should be. Such authority with the way he's delivering the darts as well. But how important is this game for Klassen to
58.
feel something ahead of Saturday?
Well, I don't even think he'd have felt like he was in a game in that last one. It
45.
probably happened so quick.
Oh, let's face facts. We've been around yellow for long enough. He's done that to plenty of other people.
100.
Players like him, Ricky Evans, and some other Dutch talents that you don't even need us to name. Remember the time when Michael van Gerwen beat Steve Beaton 6-0 in less than
58.
7 minutes? And he averaged over 120.
100.
Some darts that in it, some darts.
It's a different planet. I'm more of an Andy Bolton style player. I like to methodically
100.
place my darts in the
Yellow bar
board.
104.
Whereas players like Yella and Alexander and Michael and some others, they just live in a whirlwind
48.
and
Yellow bar
thrive.
158.
He's got the biggest finish of the group, 161, which he hit earlier tonight. And when he beat
100.
Alexander Merckx by 4
Yellow
legs to
bar
2, he also had
56.
120. And that was to win that match.
Game shot the
That
second
wins
leg
that leg in
yellow
17
Klassen.
darts. This is a good game.
Third leg Andy to throw first. Game on.
This time of year has been very good to Jelle Klaassen in his career. He's won a PDC title in Ireland in the autumn.
55.
He's won a WDF title in Killarney in the autumn. This is also the month of his birth.
57.
He has a mindless fact. He actually shares his birthday with Barry Bates.
Some player were only Barry Bates.
123.
Both PDC title winners.
When you talk about players that was maybe cut short by various factors, he's got to be top of your list.
100.
He won a PDC title. He could barely walk. I'll never forget that finish that he hit for
59.
Wales against Australia, though, in the first World Cup. His categorization of that tournament will live in my head forever.
41.
He said, Mark Webster played so well as my partner that when I banked the 10 grand, I could buy myself a Range Rover.
$140.
We've seen in previous efforts here in Portsmouth that Andy Bolton has had shoulder struggles
44.
But I do get the
Andy Require,
feeling that watching him
124.
for the last 22 and a half games, that shoulder is fine, considering what he's changed this week. There's no
56.
discomfort there. Well, not yet. Probably go downstairs now, try and trim the 9 off.
139.
Wise thing to do.
Andy Require 68.
Double top.
48.
Clipping a
Andy
lot of
Require
wires
120.
when he misses doubles.
Well, that's a good sign in itself.
80. Andy Require 20.
You either want to be in or close. The last thing you want to be doing is putting lots of board between you and the target.
Everybody hates that dart.
No score.
Andy included.
Andy Require 40.
Double 5 is so pesky. Double 4
32.
isn't kind either.
Andy
I'll
Require
give you 2
20.
players that don't mind double 5 in the next leg. And one of them is not Andy Bolton.
Game
because
shot
he
the third
doesn't
leg,
need it.
Andy Bolton.
Top of the list of people who don't mind double 5. Gerwin Price.
Fourth
because
leg
he won a
yellow
world
to
title on it.
Rovers. Game on.
And the other one. One of the wins of my career came on double
60.
5. But all joking aside, there aren't many players who like double 5 at all.
It's like 9, isn't
58.
it? Because the breakdown of the target, you come inside, you then need to burn a dart to get back to a double again.
That takes us back to your thought process about changing where the numbers are.
140.
So with that, what would you change?
I'd love to
100.
take areas of the board people avoid and put numbers in there that people traditionally chase.
So you would put double 16 in the double 9 position, wouldn't you?
41.
Yeah, and then put something like double 9 and 16 and then see if people deliberately try to leave the 18 more for the breakdown of going to the position of the board rather than the
99.
breakdown of the number.
And you could change the transitions as well. You know how you've got 16s to 8s, which is one next door. You could go from
140.
the bottom left corner potentially and put double 8 at double 3. You could make it as cruel as you could possibly like.
60. Yellow Require 120.
Pattern of this game is all about holes of throw. Another crack at a 120.
Game shot
This
the
time
fourth
he
leg
gets it.
Yellow Klassen.
Nice bit of ladder climbing there from the Cobra.
Fifth leg Andy to throw first. Game
And
on.
that changes the stat that we told you at the start of the day when we said Yellow Klassen is the only player in this group who's not been able to record a finish over 100. He now has. Means all players have
140.
completed their bingo card for Group B.
And it means that every player that's going to Saturday night has got one as well.
97.
Because we know that Littler's got one. He's got a 170 and lots of others. Białecki's got a 156. Harry Ward got a 150 and a 154.
100.
Bolton's got a 161. Klassen's got his 120. And Mertz has got a 155.
82.
Just more evidence of what you could potentially see on Saturday night here on London Road in Portsmouth. If you're coming down, get here early. Get yourself a nice seat up front.
97.
Every time Luke Littler's on a Saturday night, this place gets full.
42. Andy Require 164.
He's a rare talent. He's a rare talent that doesn't come around very often.
And it might be the last time you see him here. There's no guarantee of anything.
117.
Almost went one shot better than his previous PB on the outs here in this group. If If Littler does not win
41.
tomorrow night,
And you require
it will be
47.
goodbye. Double 16. 3-2 to Bolton with a 14 daughter. The same could be said for everybody else. You go through the list of people in Saturday
Six-leg
night.
yellow to
Littler,
Rovers. Game on.
Białecki, Ward, Bolton, Klassen, Mertz. What's to say that all of those players aren't going to the tour
99.
next year? The only one that's guaranteed to is Luke. We'll find out over the next few months
100.
which players do not retain their PDC Tour privileges and could potentially find themselves here on the road to something else.
120.
Considering how he's played tonight, does he wear the boots tomorrow? Or does he go back to the shoes?
I'm not even going to try and predict what he does tomorrow. I'm not even confident he'll use the same
140.
darts.
He's always been someone to take a very large suitcase with him on his travels. He's never packed light.
42.
But then again, I have seen the size, in his previous house that is, the size of his wardrobe. It's like something off Cribs.
100.
Well, on the PDC European Tour next year, we are going to a town that Yella knows very well called Rosmarlin. He took me to a clothes shop there in
58.
2009.
And you require
I bought a leather jacket.
161.
I still got it. Beautiful little town. Great
100.
last start. Back in class and into a corner here. Could well be. Only the 2 wins
60.
for the night to mimic what
And he
happened on
requires
Thursday, but it
61.
is enough. 61 more points for 14 points in the group, which is 7 wins from 8.
Game, shot, and
So
a match.
good in this
Andy
group.
Bolton.
Andy wins Group B, and he does beat Jelle Klaassen once again, this time by 4 legs to 2. His average doesn't get over 90 this time, but he was always in control, having the darts, and he does get a break in that last leg to ensure that Jelle Klaassen will finish in 3rd position. Well, does he? Because Alexander Merckx, if he loses heavily to Mark Hilton, could find himself in a different position. He's 2nd at the minute. Will he finish that way after the break?
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we have our Group B winner, Andy Bolton. Welcome back to finals night tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot more consistent tonight. Happy I've played. Yeah, the main thing was trying to win the games, get a bit of a momentum into tomorrow night, and yeah, find a bit of consistency. And I think I found that a little bit tonight.
Yeah, at the start of the night, the group looked really tight, but you kind of got it out of the way early, didn't you? A good win for 4-0 first match, and then the next game when you qualified, there was a 1-6-1 in there, a 120 as well. Really good finishing, and you just kind of did your work early in the evening.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the 1-6-1 was a proper. Oh, sorry. Proper set. Oh, that's there. Even get the shimmy in and all. It'd have been quite nice to. The next leg, I missed a 160, I think, and it'd have been quite nice. I had a little smile to myself as like, you know, if I can follow the 161 with the 160. But yeah, the 120, I think that's all I've done all week is just, I played a little bit better tonight, but I just, when it matters, hitting crucial finishes. And that's quite nice to be able to draw on that at times when you need it.
And it's good timing as well, isn't it? Because the important night's tomorrow, so to have that to take in must give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I said in an interview at the start of the night, it was all about getting a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence going into tomorrow night. And yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed that I lost the game, to be fair. Last time I played in the Group B, I went through without losing a game, and I kind of wanted to keep that record. But yeah, that's been my thing this week. I've had a couple of slip-ups, but tomorrow night is about not having any slip-ups, hitting the ground running, yeah, and getting the job done, really.
Yeah, well, you have got the job done. You've done it really well. A certain Luke Littler said that you would win Group B. That was his prediction. And as we are about to see, you have won it, and you've won it really well in the end. Is there a little bit of a rivalry going on between, maybe, with all due respect, one of the senior stars and the teenage sensation?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm 2-1 up, and all I know is if it ends up being 3-1, then yeah, the ball's in my court to look. You know, there's going to be six. Well, I know there's going to be 6 good players tomorrow. Well, Harry Ward, Sebastian, whatever. I played Sebastian in a really good final here last time, and yeah, hey, Luke's Luke, and if he turns up, we're all in a spot of bother. But he knows that if he doesn't turn up, that yeah, us old timers are there to step in. And yeah, I had a little thing like today. I went for a walk, and I seen Charles Dickens' birthplace and that, and I just thought to myself, you know, I came into the week with great expectations. Over the week, I've had some hard times, but at the end of the week, maybe there's going to be a bit of a twist.
Well, it's been the best of times, hasn't it? Look at that. You can do my job if you want in future.
That's for the intellectual viewers.
There we go, yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Andy Bolton, yeah, poet.
There you go.
Author.
I knew you'd like that, Chris.
Great darts player as well.
There you go.
9 out of 10 as well going into finals night. Just one last question. We know that this is going to be the last Champions Week before the new season starts. So players don't know whether they're going to have tour cards and stuff next year. You may have one. So how big would it be to get onto that stage and win and get to that Champions Week?
Yeah, massively important for me. I think like I've been busier than ever, even though I lost my card, and this has been a massive part of me practicing, giving me something to aim for. And yeah, I just really appreciate what all you guys do. And yeah, if I could win the week, especially, you know, I think the last time I won my week was a really good week. I think in the finals night, I think I said something like there was 4 of the top 16 of the Challenge Tour. It's not going to be a lot different this time, you know. And then obviously we've got the new wee guy on the scene, and yeah, Luke, icing on the cake. It'd be great to get to another Champions Week, and that'll be the main aim tomorrow, and we'll just see how it goes. If I play like I know I can do, it's just that consistency, you know. But tomorrow's normal darts, no chances. If you get beat, you've got to hit the ground running.
Yeah, another chapter maybe.
Another chapter.
We'll turn the page.
Another story.
The novel of Andy Bolton. Right, one more match to play tonight. One more chapter this evening. So let's get it on in the company of Paul Nicholson and Matthew Egger. And I hope they're a better wordsmith than Andy Bolton, because they've got some competition here.
I don't know.
Well, I think my job is at risk considering that segue brilliance from the poet that is Andy Bolton. From both myself and Matthew Edgar, congratulations to Andy on a fabulous display here this week. Not just in Group B, but in Group A as well. He really was excellent in pushing Luke Littler, and he will push him again
First
on
leg,
Saturday
Alexander
night.
to Throfers.
Alongside Jelle Klaassen
Game on.
and Alexander Merckx, because they have qualified as well. But how impressed were you, Matt, with the poet
70.
that is Andy Bolton with his Charles Dickens knowledge?
I didn't get it.
You've never read Charles Dickens?
9.
I don't think I've read much, to be fair. Never mind Charles Dickens.
So there's more to do in Portsmouth than just darts.
100.
You can see where famous poets and authors were born. But ultimately, when it comes to Saturday nights, it's all about darts here in Southern Hampshire.
And he did say it was for the
55.
intelligent viewers.
I think you're doing yourself an injustice here.
99.
We can laud Andy, we can laud Jelle Klaassen, but let us pay homage to the fastest man in the world darts, Alexander Merckx, who now has a record of his own
140.
here at the Super Series with 5 minutes 41, breaking the fastest game record by 7 seconds.
190.
Well, he's not going to do it again, is he? In fact, he's not, because you need the right muse, don't you? He won the first leg of that contest in 59 seconds. That's got to be one of the quickest legs we've ever seen.
140. Alexander Quar 52.
That record's like a dance, isn't it? You need the right dance partner to make it happen.
Game shown on the first leg.
He dances his way to a
Alexander
1-0 lead. 95 seconds for that first leg. Had he hit that
Second leg, Mark
120
to
checkout
Throfers.
in
Game on.
that game, what would his time have been?
I believe it would have been 21 seconds sooner.
82. 97.
Based on our assumptions, we think it would have broken 5.5 minutes.
So
140.
your idea of putting up records and plaques,
93.
I think that's quite safe. That maybe we could have put that in some form of, not just a whiteboard and a marker so you can rub it off. I think we could just put it up in titanium.
It's going to take something rather ridiculous to
57.
beat that record. And when you consider all of the games that we've had with the likes of Graham Usher and Scott Baker and
97.
Connor Scott, they are fast players. And a lot of those games are 1, 2, 3 seconds apart. It's the
100.
equivalent of having the 100-meter record by Usain Bolt and somebody breaking it by 1/10 of a second.
44. Marco Quar 122.
418s for Bolt. This is Mark's last game here in Group B, but not his last game here this week.
115.
Because he's got a belt to defend
Alexander Quar 170.
later today in around about 12 hours. Bullseye!
145. Marco Quar 7.
He's getting in the flow, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a bit of mojo going on here. Doppel eins.
No score. Alexander Quar 25.
2 8s. He's been great on this double this week.
No
Ooh,
score.
but he's overzealous.
Marco Quar 7. No score.
I'm not surprised
Alexander Quar 25.
that he's missed a big number there, because I was just about to pick up on something that we haven't picked up on yet this
Game
evening.
on the second leg, Alexander Merckx.
Mark Hilton has only won one leg so far.
Third
And
leg,
he will
Alexander
know that
to
as
throw
well.
first. Game on.
He lost 4-0 to Andy Bolton in his opener, 4-0 to Jelle Klassen, 4-1 to Jordan Brooks.
91.
He's now 2-0 down to Alexander Merckx.
He got 9 legs yesterday.
140.
Averaging 78.9. Averages tonight of
100.
78.81 to start, so reverting to type. Then 72.05. And then his previous game, just a shade over 70, so his productivity has dropped.
100. 140.
Merckx is just like Bolton. He's playing his 23rd game. He's seasoned. He's done this before.
And he's been doing it consistently coming here, which is something Mark Hilton
91.
hasn't.
Alexander Acquire 170.
He's coming into like a crash course.
98.
Really good,
Mark
steady
Acquire
stuff.
170.
He's doing what Bolton did in the previous game, averaging 89. Needs another. No crack at bullseye for Mark. He said he wanted to come here this
74.
week and have fun.
Alexander Acquire 72.
By the looks of it, he has had fun.
Game shown
But
the
he's in
third leg,
trouble of losing to
Alexander
nil
Merckx.
again. Because Alexander Merckx is just too good in this game, averaging
Fourth leg,
17
Merckx
darts
throw
per leg
first. Game
to
on.
this point. That's 51 darts for 3 legs. And his doubles so far, very good, 50%.
81. $57.
The qualities that Alexander has shown this week are very admirable. His final game of Group A, he needed to win it to get into Group B.
41.
He put in his performance of the week at that time to get into this group.
140.
He's going to be second in Group B. The people who came through Group A this week, they're showing their strength.
125.
Of the 4 players that graduated from Group A, you've got Littler, who won the group.
44.
You've got Bolton, who has won this group. Białecki has won Group C, and the other one in Merckx, who's going to Saturday night, is second here in Group B as well. Definitive strength from the people who started the week.
134. $85.
No finish
Mark your
for
bar,
Alexander, so time for
120.
Mark to get his second leg of the night. The only leg he won was against Jordan Brooks, where he hit 1 dart a double
80.
from 11 attempts.
$63. Mark your acquire 40.
Double top with 3 darts in hand. You'll fancy it.
Game shot on the fourth leg, Mark Hilton.
There you go. A little bit of an ironic celebration there for Mile High Mark Hilton.
Fifth leg, Alexander to throw first.
I wonder
Game
how
on.
many times when he's introducing his name to people does he say, it's Hilton with a Y? Because everybody thinks
91.
about Hilton with an I. Now, the conclusion of this game, we will talk with Matthew Edgar and Chris Murphy about who's in what group.
54.
And if you're plotting your Saturday night's viewing, we will tell you
140.
who will be in Group 1. There will be 3 players in that group. 3 players in Group 2. 2 games per player per group. And then the top 2 will graduate to the semi-finals, where
60.
it is knockout darts for the final 3 games of the week.
45.
This is not the time to get lazy. Not that Alexander will do that, but playing at this time is not natural to a lot of these players, especially to someone
60.
coming in for their debut this week like Mark. But Alexander's played many a Group B in the last year and a bit.
85.
This will feel more natural to him than many other players. But it's still not easy. He'd take a ton right now to leave 40.
Alexander require 140.
But he might finish with a flourish.
124.
That'll do very nicely. And like I've already said in this match, he's been excellent at double 8 all week long. The finishing line is in sight, and he gives us a Bob Anderson
Alexander
point
Horse,
to the
16.
board. It could be the last thing he does. He's using Bob Anderson darts, so why not give us the legendary point? How does Alexander get past those, I wonder?
No score.
He doesn't.
Mark requires 65.
We all thought that was going to be a parting gift from Mark Hilton. It might just be the start of the comeback.
Game
And the
shot of
comeback
fifth
is
leg,
on.
Mark Hilton.
Pride is a powerful thing.
6-leg Mark to throw first.
He doesn't want to
Game on.
leave with 4 defeats on Friday. This is now Saturday morning. It is a day where he will play to defend his ADC belt
100.
against Richard Horsey. This resilience that he's showing right now, he's going to need it
59.
a little bit later today. All of a sudden, at this very early hour,
85.
Hilton is starting to play better. And all of a sudden, he's overtaken the average of his opponent.
96.
We haven't seen Mark play this well here this week. Top average of 82.32. This is better than that.
100.
Has he got enough in the
99.
tank to take us to leg 7? And miraculously, in what we categorized as a very tight group, no games over the course of tonight have gone
27.
to 7 legs.
$60.
4 times. In fact, only 3 times we have gone to a 6th leg.
100.
But it's more likely that we will go to leg 7 than not.
63. Mark require
Loves to use the
89.
bullseye with the last start to set up the 120 plus score. It's the second time he's done it in this game. Hilton misses the big number. Just a bit too aggressive on that approach.
49. Alexander require 100.
Alexander gets another chance to finish the game. On the ball.
99. Mark require 40.
Double 10. Last chance.
30.
Severely pushed.
Alexander require 25.
Mertz can win if he hits 8.
Game
A
shot.
wonderful
And the
dart
match,
to
Alexander
win by
Mertz.
4 legs to 2. Mark Hilton on debut here at the MODUS Super Series will finish on 2 points and a leg difference of -17. But Alexander will finish in 2nd position,
graduating to another Saturday night, which will be a heavyweight Saturday night. A really good game there, but Hilton really should have taken us to a 7th leg. He is playing his belt match on Saturday afternoon against Richard Hosey. We wish him the best of luck with that. And now we look forward to Saturday night. Week 9, Saturday night is going to be brilliant. Let's start the process of looking forward to it with Matthew Edgar and Chris Murphy.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, before we do that, we'll just reflect on what's happened this evening with the 10 results from tonight. And look, it's all about one man, isn't it? Andy Bolton did all the damage early and went on to complete a clean sweep.
Clean sweep and doing so in style as well. He's been the second favourite all week, and I think he's on a collision course at the moment with that man Luke Littler. It's all painting to that direction, and Andy Bolton really did tonight impress me. He came in tonight in his interview with Paul Nicholson beforehand, said he wants to win all 4 games. Dart players don't normally do that. They normally come in and aim the bar really low. Well, certainly at the interviews they do. But he came in, all guns blazing, and he was really, really impressive throughout the night.
Yeah, certainly raised the bar high with his interviews, reciting Dickens on the stage alongside me. Not sure you'll be getting that from Matthew Edgar here, but certainly raised the bar with his darts as well. Some brilliant finishes tonight in qualifying in that second match against Alexander Merckx. He had the 161, the 120, just really, really spectacular stuff.
Solid. I've spoke all week about ranges of performance and being solid and consistent. Andy Bolton's been that with flashes of brilliance. If you can stay somewhere around that 90 mark and then have these little peaks, you're going to be very successful here at the Super Series. That's the standard of winners. And like I keep going back to him, if Luke Littler wasn't here, we'd be saying now Andy Bolton is a strong favourite to win this week.
Yeah, we will have a look at that in a moment when we preview the groups. But first of all, we had a little bit of history tonight at the MODUS Super Series. The quickest game ever played happened between Alexander Merckx and Jelle Klaassen. A really, really quick-fire duo. And it was all kind of expected. If this would have gone in, this 120, by the way, that record would have been 5 minutes and 26 seconds. It ended up being 5 minutes and 41 seconds, beating Graham Usher's previous record by 7 seconds. Incredible stuff.
Only 7 seconds. It's like, well, they were hanging around that, wasn't they? Just dawdling round. But that's this week. We started off this week, and I think sometimes you can get accused of over-egging something. But when we saw the lineup this week, we said this week's stacked. And then the Group A record got matched. And now the time one has been beaten. I think there's something missing from this week, and I think we're going to see it tomorrow. I think we're going to see a 9-darter.
Oh, there we go. He's gone early on the 9-dart. Right, what we saw this evening resulted in Andy Bolton winning the group, and he won it really well, actually. Only one defeat, none of them coming tonight, and actually goes into finals night, having won 9 of his last 10 matches. Alexander Merckx and Jelle Klaassen join him, both former weekly winners as well. Difficult for Jordan Brooks and Mark Hilton to get through that group, and another week could have been much more competitive.
Well, that's one of the things I like about the MODUS Super Series as well. We get to see these players we haven't seen for a long time, like Mark Hilton. Yes, it hasn't gone great for him, but I just quite enjoyed seeing him again. He was somebody who was sort of around in the sort of 2010 to 14 sort of era. And it's nice to see those players back on the stage again, see what they're up, see where their game is. And I just enjoyed seeing him. Jordan Brooks is going to be mightily disappointed with how hit's gone for him. He would have came here expecting to have got through to a Group B. You got more chance of getting through than not by the numbers, especially when you put someone in like Mark Hilton, who was likely, and by his own words, likely to finish bottom as well. So was only looking at relegating one player from that group. So he'll be disappointed that that's him.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But it is an incredible finals night lineup. You will not be disappointed watching this tomorrow. And here are the groups that the 6 players are split into. So Group 1, the 2-time back-to-back champion Luke Littler is with Harry Ward and Alexander Merckx. Group 2, Sebastian Białecki, Andy Bolton, who played a final here, a thrilling one as well, and another former weekly champion in Jelle Klaassen. I mean, which group would you rather be in?
Group 2 strikes me as one that, if that was a Champions Week group, we'd say fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather be in Group 1. And that's just because, yes, you've got Luke Littler in there, but I think there's more opportunity there. There is 2 players that go through, and they're relegating 1 player from each group. So I think in that group, it's going to come down to Harry Ward and Merckx in their head-to-head to see who gets through there, where Group 2 could be any 2 from the 3.
Come on, give us a couple of predictions, Ed. It sounds like you're going for Luke Littler to get through that group. Who do you think is the most likely person for him to be playing, say, in the final if he does get there again?
I think the way the week has gone, we'd like to see Littler Bolton final. I think the whole week has been destined for that final. It's now over to them to make it happen, and that could be one of the greatest finals we've ever seen in a weekly campaign.
Indeed, it could, and he said it himself. Andy Bolton 2-1 up. He's aware of it, and I'm sure you're all aware of Luke Littler, the 16-year-old sensation. He's back on that stage, a stage where he's never lost on a finals night. He's won every single time he's been here on a Saturday. If you can't get down to Portsmouth to watch it firsthand, make sure you are tuning in from 7:30 on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, and in the semis and final from 10 p.m. live on Sporty Stuff TV. It's going to be an absolute thriller. We'll see you then.